are in a video store. You are in a video store. What? You are in a video store. You are in a video store.
My forehead is itchy because I have dry skin because of winter.
Nah. Gross.
I just took a hot shower.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is now slightly after 7 p.m., and no matter where you are in a video store. A digital place online to hang out and talk about movies for people who miss hanging out in real life and talking about movies. I'm one of your two clerks for the evening, Adam Protextor.
And I am your other clerk / co-host, Stephanie Thoreson.
And this is a show where we talk about movies. Generally, we do 3 beats, just like a good Hollywood movie. We'll start off by asking, what did you watch this week? We'll tell you what we watched. We'll talk about it. We'll move on to new arrivals. Oh my God, we have a stack of new arrivals this week. And then finally,
an embarrassment of riches.
And then some. And then we'll get to our movie club pick, which this week was The Abyss. We're going to talk about that in a little bit here. Few ground rules for the show. Don't be a dick. Always be nice. Don't shame people for having not seen things. Don't shame people for disagreeing with you. It's okay to shame people, though, if they're being a dick. No, we'll not go down that path. We're a nice place. Just pretend you're in a video store. We're clerks. Don't yell at other people who are looking through the aisles, and we're going to be gravy. I don't think that's ever happened. We have the best audience ever, but
for sure.
We say it at the top of every show just in case, because we're online.
I don't think you'd be in a video store and see someone browsing a section and be like, hey! And then a scissor hand run down the aisle and swat it out of their hand.
That movie sucks!
And they'd have to be like, excuse me, sir, we're going to have to ask you to leave the video store
Excuse me.
now.
It's also Tuesday, and in the spirit of Tuesdays at I Love Video, rest in peace, Free Beer Tuesday. So we have free beer for us that we bought. And we offer you some. Oh, I see you're cheating on Maya this week, trying to cost us that sponsorship.
I was going to say, for our regulars, our video store regulars out there, I'm usually drinking out there. I've been watching too much Schitt's Creek.
Moira Rose over here.
I'm normally drinking my Maya prebiotic. It's a baby, but I'm out. I buy it by the case and I'm out. So I'm drinking Buddha's Brew Kombucha.
Nice. They're not going to sponsor us.
No,
They're too big.
Absolutely not.
Pathos. Hey, by the way, other Twitch fans, I'm just going to self-plug real quick. That little theme song we did at the beginning here, by next week, guess what? We're going to have a rap theme song that I'm going to write and put in. And hey, if you have a Twitch channel and you want some license-free music, go to my Bandcamp, because I would love to work with you, because I'm really enjoying the Twitch thing. I want to spread the music around. I
just read Pathos.
I lost 2 viewers when I did my pitch. Like, that's not why we're here, bro. Bye.
Pathos said it's no longer a maybe, which made me laugh. And that's part of the fun of this show, is that if you're a regular, we have inside jokes and great conversations. And that's part of the fun of hanging out with us every Tuesday night at You Are in a Video Store.
That's right. And we are on UltraLoop. We would love if you would subscribe to UltraLoop. Think about UltraLoop as the channel, which it is. It's called a channel. But think about it as your TV station with a bunch of different variety shows. We're your Tuesday night primetime slot. Tomorrow night we got Aliens for Humans in the primetime slot. And then Thursday is the Game Awards. And I think I'm going to sit in with Alon and do some commentary. So we got game. And I actually did my first old school stream last week too.
You did.
Streamed Castlevania for 3 hours. Mm-hmm. And Ninja Gaiden. I beat Ninja Gaiden on the stream. It was really fun. I'm going to be doing more of that, so stay tuned, because the video store has a game section, and we're going to be doing some of that.
And in the coming weeks, I will be doing a solo show as well.
Hell yeah.
We'll just keep you posted.
So drop us that sub if you haven't. If you have, thank you. We really appreciate it. You get a free one if you have a Prime membership. And I think that about covers our bases up top.
I think so. Oh, I was going to say, last week at the very end of the show, maybe I assumed that I was the only woman hanging out in the stream, but I think that
you were not.
I am not. I think, I forget who. Maybe it was
3
Wedge.
of our followers watch as couples.
Yes.
So Wedge, Holden Wook, and ZPGB all watch with their partners, so we at least have 3 women watching.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, I think at the end of that stream I was saying this is a safe space, and it's I just want to reiterate that as one of our rules. It's a safe space. Hello to everyone in the chat, including people who are new to the love of film, or just curious about the love of film, and women, non-binary, and fluid individuals. Welcome. We love you. All is welcome here this Christmas night.
Twas
the night before Christmas.
Where are we going?
And all through the house.
Let's pull over. Let's put it
not
in park.
a creature was. I just can't stop looking at my Reese's sticks. I'm on my period, and I've made a request for Reese's sticks, and they are just staring at me.
Real quick, one other thing that we need to say is the chat. We love interacting with the chat. You'll see this rotating sign right in front of me. That is going to give you our Instagram handles for each of us individually. It's also going to give you the Instagram handle for the show, which is @YouAreInAVideoStore. We've been way more active on that Insta handle lately. We've actually been playing along with a hashtag series this month called #25DaysOfXmasEps that our good friend Great Job Nerds in the chat came up with Watch Out Wedge. So we have actually got some viewers who are putting together viewing lists and sharing them on Instagram. So the party continues, the conversation continues on Instagram. Also, you're going to see a sign that says Ask Clerk for Rex. That's because we love giving recommendations. As to your point, Stephanie, we're here because we love movies. We love all kinds of movies. We love Charlie Chaplin movies. We love Michael Bay movies. We don't care. We're here to party about movies, and we're assuming that's...
to party about movies.
Yeah, we're assuming that's why you're here, too. That's the new tagline, to party about movies. But the point is that we love, like, whether you are... Look, if you're a 10-year-old who just saw The Truman Show for the first time, or you're a 60-year-old who knows everything there is to know about Japanese samurai cinema because you dedicated your 50s to studying it, welcome. We're all here because we love it. We want your expertise. Look, we watch a lot of movies. We buy a lot of movies. We don't know everything about movies. You do. We do. It takes a village, and that's the show. So jump in the chat if you feel it. And now I feel like we're ready to officially start.
I think so.
We have to, like, pare our intro down.
No, we don't.
No, it's good. It's good. We might go for less than 3 hours tonight, just a heads up. Stephanie and I also, I mean, this show is produced, technically, if you want to get into the nitty-gritty. The nitty-gritty. This show is distributed by UltraLoop, but produced by Baby Lion. Baby Lion being Stephanie and I's company. Excuse me. And something else we produced this year is a sitcom called Wind-Ups that we need to edit, folks, because we're trying to sell this thing. Anyone got Netflix connects? Look, I'm just gonna start manifesting. Manifest. Yo, if you know someone at Netflix, send them our way. We have a fucking awesome sitcom. We're editing right now. We're really proud of it, but we're gonna go a little short tonight because it's our only free night to have a strat chat, and we gotta have a meeting about it. So we'll probably go until 9:30 or so tonight.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
Cool.
So we better start getting through our new arrival stack. No, I'm just
right.
kidding.
The new arrival stack is huge, but I'm going to rattle them off.
Yeah.
And I'll also explain why it's so huge. I didn't actually go on a buying spree. I just had a lot of things arrive at once. And also to that point, just in case you don't know us or know me or know the whole vibe of this, I worked in a video store for 5 years of my life. I've been collecting movies since I was a kid, and I firmly believe in the preservational aspects of physical media in a digital landscape. And so what we try to do is we collect, but it's not just about collecting to amass things. It's about building an archive of things that might be difficult to find other places.
Did you know that when I was studying film in college, that my internship was as an archivist?
I love it. Look, you're meant to be here.
I mean, have I ever told you that?
I don't think so. That's nuts.
That's wild. Okay, we'll talk about it.
We should talk about it. Okay, now I came in real hot, as Stephanie knows. We saw the timer had expired, and I was like, shit. I ran to the store right before this to get my girlfriend, who's on her period, some Reese's Sticks. Haven't washed the package.
Oh, okay.
She has COVID now. So we did that. I'm coming in hot. Look, I got a really wonderful care package from a video friend of mine online. It included a shirt. I promised him I'd wear it for the stream. Haven't put it on yet. I need to put the Reese's Sticks in the fridge. Get them cold. That's how Stephanie likes them. So I'm gonna please let me take 5 minutes away, and I'm gonna come back way more prepared to sit down and stream because I came in hot.
Yeah, take 5.
All right, be arbs.
Be arbs.
Be arbs. Be arbs. I'm losing my shit tonight.
Oh boy. Bye. I also kind of came in hot, literally and figuratively, because I had to shower, y'all. You know those times when it's like it's not an option. You're like, Also, we don't have hot water, like, ever. And I gave the dog a bath today, and we had hot water, and I was like, oh, man, I'm taking a shower. I'm taking a shower, man. So I had to get in there. It is a tangerine sea salt Buddha's brew. Tony, I think you came in a little late. I ran out of my Maya well, so I'm having a Buddha's brew kombucha instead. Adam is drinking Lone Star in honor of I Love Video's Free Beer Tuesdays. R.I.P. The other day I drove by there, and for those of you who don't know, I used to manage the comedy theater next door that was attached to I Love Video. And this year has been very emotionally wrought of just, cleaning out the theater, packing up the tech booth and all of the photos and show posters. It's been a wild ride. But one of the fun things about being in that space was sharing a wall with I Love Video. And when we would be playing comedy shows in this little video store basement, we could hear them playing movies through the wall. And they could hear us doing shows and people laughing through the wall on the other side. So it was like, I'm getting like goosebumps. It was a very special place. And, this year's been tough. And the other day I drove by there. We had already cleaned out the theater space, but I saw their shelves, their movie shelving, their movie store shelving out by the front door. And I just... I got sad. So that's just a little personal note, not to bring it down, but, like Adam was saying, physical media, physical spaces, especially this year, are, physical spaces this year are just things that we have not really been able to share, so we like sharing this space with you, and physical media is important to us as archivists and people trying to make sure that, as the world changes and wild shit happens unexpectedly, that, these things stick around. Tony, you're drinking the ginger one. I've had the ginger one. It's very good. I'm trying to think what other flavors I've had. I love kombucha. I love prebiotic drinks. I love anything that's like fizzy and for your tummy. You know what? I love Alka-Seltzer. Let's just get real. Why not? Is it fizzy? For your tummy? I'm here for it. Okay? I'm just going to put that out there. What else is going on? Let's see. I know we're going to get into what we watched this week as soon as Adam gets back. I was kind of a passive watcher this week. I don't know if anyone else during the holiday season becomes a little more of a passive viewer. And by that, I mean a couple of things. One, I find that during the holidays, I love just rewatching things I've seen 100 times. I think that's something that everybody does. I think Halloween and Christmas are 2 times a year where tradition, and that's you just sort of look forward to revisiting your favorites. But 2, a lot of times during the holidays, I'm either working on a project with my hands, where I have to like look down, or I'm wrapping gifts, which a lot of people do. So I see we have the shirt on.
We have the shirt on. We've done it.
I was just talking about how sometimes during the holiday season you can be a little more passive with your watching, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I was just no. I mean in general. I was saying because you're wrapping gifts, you've seen the movie a million times. It's just part of, you know, maybe you get a little Zoom, Mama's 90s cigarette, or
it's like legal like everywhere.
I just like saying it now. But you know, I was just saying this week I've been working on a secret Christmas project and it involves a lot of looking down and focus. So I've been a more passive viewer this week. So I've just been putting on like baking shows and like AGT auditions to like have noise.
Just to have voices.
Yeah.
Did you grow up with the TV always on?
I did. I was a latchkey kid. First thing I did when I got home, I was home alone all the time. Walked through the door, put my bag down, walked to the remote, turn on the TV.
Yeah,
Every
but you
day.
did it, well, like when your family was there, was like that a thing? Like, did your dad turn on the TV right when he got home from work? 'Cause the reason I ask is because I feel like I always came home from school, walked home, had a little snack, went and laid down on the couch, turned on the TV. And it like relaxed me. And then I think that a lot of kids in our generation, especially who grew up with like cable, got so used to doing that for themselves and their parents watching TV that like I would fall asleep to TV a lot as a kid. Like I'd turn it on because it's like the voices do sound comforting.
Yeah. Well, part of the reason initially I would run in the house and turn on the TV is because I was trying to catch Batman.
Oh, Batman the Animated Series?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, I was always trying to catch, so you were, that's younger.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about like young kid.
Yeah.
For some reason, like, I only have memories of running home after school to catch Power Rangers. And then I moved when I was 10. And I have a weird, you know how like, there's that psychological phenomena where when you cross the threshold of a doorway, you forget why you did?
Huh?
So if you're like, this happens to all of us.
Explain it.
Okay, so say that it could happen right now. Say that I'm going to the kitchen to put your Reese's in the fridge and grab myself a second beer.
Oh, and then you walk into a room and you go, why am I here?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The reason for that is that your brain is telling yourself, because you've crossed that threshold, your brain is like used to the wild, so it's saying, okay, reset. And that's why that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, with getting home from... Anyway, I'm rambling. But my point is that when I was a kid, I think when I moved, there's like a walking through a doorway reset. Like I barely remember anything before my move.
Oh.
Like before age 10. But I remember Power Rangers. But what I remember way more vividly is coming home at age 10 and putting on Simpsons on Fox. There was a block of Simpsons from 5 to 6. And then Roseanne came on, and then I fell asleep during Roseanne. And I woke up when I got yelled at for dinner every day.
Get yelled at for dinner.
Adam, dinner's ready. Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, so for you, my question is, so for you, do you remember that with a number of shows? Because I only really, it took me a long time to say, I remember it for one. Do you remember it for multiple? I was trying to ask you a question, not talk about myself.
Oh, no.
Here we are.
That face wasn't for you. It was for the dryer going.
Oh, I know. And
Drives
I'll go
me
turn it.
nuts.
It's for the chat. Because if the chat watches, they know that Adam can run away with his mouth.
So you're saying, what shows do I remember running?
Yeah, or you guys. What shows do you remember running home for?
I'll tell you the two that, like...
Sorry, one more.
Oh, okay.
I'm just doing it again. Goosebumps, the premiere of the Goosebumps show. I ran home for that. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So the only two that I really strongly... Ooh, actually, you know what? Okay, I have three. When I was younger, it was Batman the Animated Series. I would always miss the first 5 minutes, and I would be so mad. The cold open? I'm like, I missed the cold open?
Did you know what it's called?
No.
When did you learn the term cold open?
I guess college?
Sorry, this is like how I really enjoy doing these kinds of shows, this tangent world.
I think I learned
learned it from Community.
I think I learned it in college. Community reminded me of it, and then I took a sitcom writing pilot class with Matthew Starr. Shout out Matt Starr.
Oh yeah, shout out Matt Starr. Hey, that's part of why you were so good at writing the pilot for the show we did.
Oh, it's true. He teaches a workshop. Matt Starr, I think it's Matt Starr.
Matthew Starr.
Matthew Starr on Instagram.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's great. Anyways, that reminded me of that. Then when I got a little older, I would run in the door to try to catch the Rosie O'Donnell show.
He's a cutie patootie. Oh my god. Dude, I wanted to go get one of those koosh balls so bad.
I wanted a koosh ball.
I wanted a koosh ball.
And then the only other thing, this technically doesn't count as like a running through the door moment, but every single Monday night I had the VCR set to, I know I'm going to say this wrong. The VCR set to tape Buffy the Vampire Slayer off of the TV and I would get, the first thing I would do when I got home was rewind and watch an episode of Buffy, and sometimes it was like Dawson's Creek and
You're way more
Angel.
cultured than me.
Is that real?
For watching Buffy? I mean, yeah.
Buffy was my favorite show starting in whenever it premiered. I started watching it in real time, I think episode 3 of season 1. And I watched every single episode in real time. I did not miss a single one. I was obsessed with that show, but it aired Monday nights, and Monday nights I had marching band practice.
Oh, boo.
And so I had to set my VCR to record it. So the second I got home from marching band practice, I would rinse off, as fast as I could, and then I would plop down on my beanbag and rewind my recorded Buffy episode.
I love that you set a timer on your VCR to record it every day or every week.
Every Monday, yeah.
That is so badass. And also, the reason I say you're more cultured than me is I didn't have... I enjoyed watching... I had a few tapes of X-Files episodes. I had 2 tapes. 4 episodes total that I'll remember for the rest of my life. Great episodes of X-Files. The Thing ripoff one, the little worm in the ear. Tombs where you can stretch through... Anyway. Ew. I could watch hour-long dramas like that, but I never understood... how do people keep up with the plot, with what's going on? Like, if it was serialized, hour-long drama, dedication, I couldn't keep up with it. That's what I'm saying. As a kid, I could not have watched Buffy. I tried to. I loved the movie, and my mom told me one day, hey, Adam, did you see that they're doing a TV show of the movie that you love? And I put on the pilot when it came out when I was like 13, and I was like, this is boring and serious. And it wasn't for me at all.
Oh man, I was so obsessed.
It's my favorite show. I have a Buffy tattoo now, right here, but
when it originally got canceled, season 5, before it came back for the last 2 seasons, I remember so vividly when they pull in for that final shot of the headstone. I remember.
Spoiler.
My sister and I. Well, I don't say who it is or what happened, but
there's a lot of death on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know who did it before Game of Thrones? Buffy.
Yeah,
Buffy's
for
like,
real.
oh, you love this beloved character?
Bye.
Buffy does a thing, and I'm going to say this. It's a spoiler if you remember it and pay attention very well. You won't. Buffy does a thing where in one of the episodes of its later seasons, a character gets added to the credits in the opening credits, the episode they die, just to fuck with you. Mean.
Well, when that... No, you're fine. When that episode aired, I remember, I was raised in a family that was like, no emotion. Do not cry.
Do not cry.
No sounds come out of your mouth if you cry. One single tear. I remember my sister and I would refuse to look at each other afterwards. And I just got up and I walked to the bathroom and I sobbed. I sobbed so hard.
What, the ending of season 5?
Mm-hmm.
So,
because it was canceled.
Right. So for our viewers who might not know, Buffy had an arc for a while, and then or a long period arc, and then the show was canceled in season 5, and they ended it. They gave it an ending, and then that ending, they basically had 2 endings, one for season 5 and one for season 7. And so season 7 is how long it actually went, but it was WB or CW?
It went to CW. It started on WB and went to CW. But the flip side of that coin is I remember when my sister and I were sitting watching some other show and they announced, I think it was over the summer, there was like a teaser. And it was
teaser's the most badass thing ever.
I shit you not, we jumped up and started screaming at the top of our lungs. I started crying. She started crying. We were jumping. We were hugging. We were going like, ah! Ah! And my dad ran up the stairs and was like, what? What's going on? What's happening?
I mean, that's incredible.
And we were like, Buffy's coming back! Ah!
See, I wish I could have experienced it in real time like that.
It was the coolest. Honestly, it's sad, but that's like one of the happiest moments of my life.
As I said, that's why we're doing this show. That's why we're here. Because we all have happy moments in our life that are based on stories we love. So I want to spoil this. This was told to me before I even saw the show. I watched it in my early 20s. I'm so jealous of your experience with the show. So I'm going to spoil something about basically, if you want to avoid spoilers for Buffy, just don't listen. Mute for 10 seconds. I'll make it really quick. 10 starting in 3, 2, 1. Find your mute button. Okay, so Buffy is the one who dies at the end of season 5. And then the promo for season 6, the show was over, and it got picked up by a new network. And the promo on the new network for season 6 was a camera tracking through a graveyard to that character's grave, and then that person's hand springing out of it, and then saying, she's back.
I have goosebumps.
That's
all
so
over
incredible.
My body right now.
So anyway, that's so rad. Anyway, spoiler, you're free if you want to unmute.
Yeah.
But man, what a cool promo.
Okay, so just to check in with the chat, Pathos said, I become more passive with everything during this season, which I think is hilarious and totally true.
Totally missed Tony G. Wiz saying they run home for Hey Dude and Clarissa.
Yes, that's next on.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. So Hey Dude and Clarissa, yes, Clarissa was my fashion icon. I was so jealous. She's the reason that I wore giant tropical fish earrings with little gem eyes and giant globe earrings that I found at like a yard sale to school.
Hey, cool.
And y'all, I got bullied.
Oh,
yes, I
did not want that to be the end of the story.
Couldn't pull it off quite like Clarissa.
I always wanted to be Sam and have a best friend named Clarissa who could program games.
Yeah. She was so cool.
She was so cool. I love that show. Hey, dude, watch out for that killer cacti.
Hey, dude was fun. I don't know if I know Viper.
I never heard of Viper. What is Viper?
I don't know. But Wedge said they watch Buffy too. And Pathos, yeah, Buffy continued in comic book form, so did Angel, yes. And the first, what do they call it? They don't call them seasons in comics. I'm sorry, this is like a blind spot.
They do refer to them as seasons in this because that's what they're writing.
Okay,
so Buffy's an anomaly.
I guess technically, the 8th season of Buffy.
Are you talking about the individual volumes of
yes.
comics? So like these? Okay, here's a little fun.
Oh, those are seasons, right? Here's
a fun thing is that you can call these like here, let's just do this. This is 2 perfect examples. So this is a series of Spider-Man comics. This is issues 378 through 380 and then a few others that tie in to make one cohesive story. These were all released as individual comics, but when they come out in this form, they're called a trade paperback. Trade paperback collection of those. This was released as 12 individual issues and self-contained. A lot of people would call this a graphic novel. That's accurate. Technically, it's also a trade paperback. You can also just call both of them comic books. But if you're referring to the individual volumes, I would say for Buffy, trade paperback or volume of the trade paperback.
Volume. That's the word I was looking for.
Anyway, there's a lot of confusion over those words. So.
No, I think it's great. I love that little tidbit.
Tidbittery.
A tidbittery. Well, anyways, my sister is printed in one of the first volumes of the Buffy comic in the back.
Your sister is?
Mm-hmm.
From like a fan thing?
From a fan
That's
Q&A.
So cool.
Yeah. Her name's Catherine. If you want.
Shout out Catherine.
I think
Thoreson.
It's very beginning, like one of the first few volumes. Anyways.
That's crazy that I saw her while reading it way before I met you.
Yeah.
By the way, Pathos, to the point of those comics, I think I've read the beginning of season 8. So like the weird thing with Buffy comics is season 8 tells the story they wanted to tell in season 8 over 22 television episodes that are 45 minutes long, but that works out to like 10 volumes of trade paperbacks. So I stopped buying them because it's so expensive, and also I just kind of fell off on the story. When they moved to comic book form, they got an unlimited budget and it just changed the storytelling method. And I think I just really love the ending of season 7 of Buffy. The show has a perfect ending. And I see the comic as like, it's almost like it's not canon for me. Like it is. I know that it's canon, but it's like the show is my canon. You know what I mean? So it's like fun fanfic that I might get to. Okay, sorry, we gotta catch up.
Let's see. Yeah, like we talked about ending early today. Okay, Wedge. Viper's regular show, something. Oh, that's weird. I've never heard of that. That's so funny.
It's a bad. I love your description. That's an elevator pitch, man. It can turn into a slightly more badass style.
That's very funny. Oh, also Wedge. I think it was Wedge who, if you joined late at the top of the show, I was saying, shout out to all the couples and roommates and stuff who watch.
Yeah. We love a good viewing party, especially in COVID times.
I'm going to let you start in on the... Well, let's introduce the next...
What did we watch? We haven't gotten to that yet.
No, I know. I'm saying let's get into what we watched. I'm going to go turn off the dang dryer because it's drying me crazy.
Oh, that was good. I'm sorry. I tried to mind meld with you.
That's right.
Well, it's actually this is a really good segue, y'all, because we're talking about shows we rushed home to watch. And one thing that's happening through Wedge, who's in the chat, and Great Job Nerds, who might be lurking, we don't know, is a hashtag on Instagram called hashtag, I'm just going to write it in the chat, hashtag 25 days of Xmas Eps. So we're using that hashtag to document watching along with Wedge and Vineet's list. So you can find the list using that. I'm going to go ahead and recap what they have been for this week. But essentially what they did was they curated a list that is a Christmas-themed episode of a television show. Not a Christmas special, but a Christmas episode.
Right, I'm gonna hop out.
Yeah, sorry. For each day. Hey, Stephanie. Thank you. Okay, so last week we watched, and this is the first 7, Tales from the Crypt and All Through the House, which was the second episode of Tales from the Crypt. I think it aired first, though. Presented as the pilot, it is a Christmas episode of Tales from the Crypt, directed by Robert Zemeckis. Really fun thing we noticed, because we just watched the Back to the Future trilogy, is that even in Tales from the Crypt, Robert Zemeckis, who was a showrunner and executive producer on Tales from the Crypt, his use of the one take through the house at the beginning, it's so much like Back to the Future, and you just know the dude loves style in his way. He loves the soft style. He's almost like a riff on Spielberg in that way, where there's a great video, Every Frame a Painting video, called the Spielberg Oneer that I really recommend because it really illustrates how Steven Spielberg shoots things invisibly, and by that I mean coordinates several shots and photographs into one shot. Anyways, Zemeckis does the same thing. We were observing how well directed this episode of Tales from the Crypt was. It's also got Perma 80's mom. I forget her name. I feel so bad, but she's the mom in everything. She's the mom in Monster Squad. Anyway, she's the lead. Classic Tales from the Crypt. Then the next night on the second,
Tales from the Crypt.
You know what I'm talking about?
Really
It was fun. On the second, watched A Very Sunny Christmas. Forgot how dark this got. Really enjoyed it. I watched that alone. We skipped Brooklyn Nine-Nine because we're just not as familiar with the show. And here we are. And this gets us into what we watched, but also co-sign on this list. So...
Okay, before we really delve in, I did grab something from the other room just to...
Oh, I saw. No, let's do it. We're on the subject, yeah.
Okay, so while we're on the subject of Buffy and the comic, and my sister, frankly, now I have this tucked away because the frame is broken, but this was a gift I got from my sister. I don't know if you can see it, but it is signed by the artist. And it's gorgeous.
It's so gorgeous. So these are character designs from the comic?
Yes, and this is the main artist from the comic.
It's really perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta frame this again.
I know. The frame's broken, so it slides around, so we need to get one that actually fits.
All right.
But anyways, just thought I'd...
Mission accepted. You got a sick from Wedge. Sick! The intro was the favorite part of Tales from the Crypt. Yeah, the intro with the miniature. So when I was a kid, I was terrified of that because now Tales from the Crypt is an HBO show.
Of the what?
Tales from the Crypt is an HBO show, but the Tales from the Crypt intro scared me as a kid because they would air it on Fox at 10:30. So after the local news on Fox, on the local Fox affiliate, it switches over to a rerun of it because Fox was taking... It's just like how Sex and the City ended up syndicated. Anyway, it's like a censored cut version of the Tales from the Crypt episode, but as soon as that intro started, it was right after the news. So if I was staying up to hang out with my parents and watch TV as a little kid, I was punished so hard by seeing that awful intro.
Yeah, I think when we were doing our Halloween episodes, we had a laugh-off competition. Do you remember that?
I can't do the Crypt Keeper's laugh. It's so hard. That's good. That's really good.
Thank you.
That's really good. Here, what about this one? I'm gonna try my laugh real quick.
Okay.
Okay. Let me try the laugh. Yeah, it's good. I'm good.
You cheating.
I can talk while laughing.
You cheat.
You're really good at it.
You
I'm
cheat.
impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah, those miniatures. Anyway, that's just good shit on me.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're talking about cartoons, TV shows we rushed home, and we're on the segment of the show which is what did you watch this week? So, hey, chat, what did you watch this week? We're going to talk about what we watched. We keep a list so that we can we basically ping pong. We talk about what we watched. We both give a few sentences on what we thought. We want to know what you think if you've seen it too. let the conversation go where it goes. So, I feel like I need to get into the It's Always Sunny one. I watched that late at night by myself. I love that show. The ones we watched together, we watched 3. Oh, so the ones we watched together, a triple feature that y'all, that Wedge and Great Job Nerds designed for us as 4, 5, and 6 was Son of Stimpy on Ren and Stimpy. Hold on, I actually got these out so that they're part of our watch pile. Okay, Season 2, Episode 7, Son of Stimpy, in which Stimpy farts his first fart and spends something like 5 years lamenting the fart as though you would a tragically killed child, and threatens Ren and his domestic partnership until eventually the fart returns to him. It's a feel-good Ren and Stimpy episode. And we really get a super, I know that this happens a lot, but we really get a glimpse into Ren and Stimpy's relationship in this one in a much deeper way. The way that Ren truly does care for Stimpy and how Stimpy is they really remind me of, honestly, their relationship. If there's another classic couple in movies and shows, they remind me of Nathan Lane and Robin Williams in The Birdcage.
Oh.
Stimpy is absolutely just dramatic as shit, and Ren is the businessman, who is come on. Yeah. But they both spur each other on too. Anyway, it's a very romantic show. Weirdly, they really love each other. We watched SpongeBob SquarePants Season 2, Episode 8, SpongeBob Christmas Special, aka Christmas Who, and then we watched a 2-part Adventure Time episode called Holly Jolly Secrets. So did anyone watch those with us? And what did you think? I felt it was really fun watching Nicktoons from across the eras. Ren and Stimpy being in the mid-90s, SpongeBob 2000, and then Adventure Time 2010. Adventure Time's not a Nicktoon. It's Cartoon Network, but we actually watched 3 Christmas specials for kids of popular cartoons that were about 7 to 10 years apart each. So I didn't even realize that until just now.
That's true.
We got kind of a perspective.
Yeah, it was real fun. It looks like Pathos in the chat, speaking of animation, Kung Fu Panda, that's one of your faves.
Oh my goodness gracious. Wow, Pathos, you watched a lot this week.
Green Mile, Memphis Belle, Untamed Heart, Kung Fu Panda, I
Frankenstein.
Oh, there's so many comments. I didn't even see the Frankenstein. I was like, is there a movie called I?
Sure there is.
I, Frankenstein, and Predators. Woo!
What did you, I want to know what you thought of Predators. Is Predators the Rodriguez one with Adrian Brody from a few years back? I remember kind of liking that. I remember enjoying that. The Green Mile, I remember being a little disappointed by for it being Frank Darabont. We watched it, and I think both of us were not to put words in your mouth.
For which one?
Green Mile. We watched it a few years ago. Don't remember?
I don't think we did.
I feel like we watched it I saw it for the first time 2 years ago. Tom Hanks can't pee? Well, I don't know. I watched it in the last couple of years.
I think that must have been a late night venture for you while I was snoozing.
No, I remember watching it. Maybe I watched it with a friend. Kung Fu Panda is one of my favorites. Kung Fu Panda 2 I've gone off on before on this show, but Kung Fu Panda 2 is a complex drama about fatherhood and colonialism and genocide, and you should absolutely watch it. It rules.
Yeah.
Kung Fu Panda 1 is a great kids movie about discovering who you are, and I love it. But Kung Fu Panda 2 is next fucking level, dog. Untamed Heart, I've never heard of. I want to know what that is. Memphis Belle, we're going to let you down. We did not find the time to watch Memphis Belle.
We had it on the queue show.
We had it
queued up.
We did not get to it. We're bad people.
Well, I wouldn't.
We're bad. I wouldn't. Look, if you can't own that. If you can't own it, I'll take it on. I'm two bad people, apparently.
Okay.
Wedge only watched The Abyss and watched through all the Christmas eps and caught up with The Mandalorian.
That's
Tony G. Wiz. The Abyss. Hey, thanks for joining us. Memphis Belle. See, now I feel like we really let people down.
I know. You know, we had this conversation last night.
We did. We're like, if more than one person watches that, we're, especially if it's their first time. Because we almost watched it last night, but we watched The Abyss last night, and it ended at midnight, and we were just tired, y'all.
Yeah.
Sorry. We're a letdown. Okay. Back to School. Oh, the Rodney Dangerfield movie? God, I want to hear it. And Summer School.
Okay, hold on. Where are you in
Tombstone,
the chat?
Sopranos. I'm scrolled up to Tony G. Wiz's last comment. And then Holly Jolly Secrets was incredible. Hadn't ever seen it. Wait, Pathos. Oh, you can't tell your story because it directly relates to events in the movie. God, oops.
Okay.
We're going to do it for you next week,
Wow.
Pathos. This happened before with League of Their Own.
I know. Oh my god.
I
That
know.
was like.
This is 2 strikes for us and Pathos. We know it too.
We know it. We know it. It keeps us numbing it.
I was just sorry. I saw a
just,
lag on my screen. I want to make sure it wasn't on our.
I was just, acting.
Stephanie's an actor. Book her. Ooh, I almost just said something, but nope, I can't say anything about it.
Okay, Wedge says, let's make a footnote for sure for next week so we can actually discuss.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Let's do it.
Noted.
You remind me of Chainsaw from Summer School, the way you talk about movies. I haven't seen Summer School, but I know that it's... why am I not remembering his name? Holy shit, Carl Reiner directed that? Mark Harmon, yes. Okay. Mark Harmon. And Kirstie Alley, which I wish I didn't know anything about what Kirstie Alley's up to now, because, you want to talk about childhood crushes?
Talking, ew.
Look who's talking. Look who's talking too. If you want to go there, if we're talking about Adventure Time, well, then we're talking ooh. Look who's talking ooh. The show is, because we're discussing Adventure Time. Someone gets it. Wedge gets it.
I don't get it.
It's because the Adventure Time takes place in the land of ooh.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Holly Jolly Secrets was pretty incredible.
Which one was that?
It was the Adventure Time double part of your watch.
Oh, yeah. It was really fun.
I'm going to watch Summer School now because now you've related it directly. You've related it directly to how I speak about something, and now I have to know.
Oh,
because Tony G. Wiz was saying...
You've appealed to his...
head.
I was like, dance around delicately.
No, I sincerely want to know now. What kind of ooh is June? Oh my god, I don't know. So Wedge and Benit have a thing where dogs are all different kinds of oohs, meaning different kinds of cute names. Throw some out, I'll tell you which kind our dog June is. Okay, and also gotta watch Summer School. Gotta watch Memphis Belle. We're gonna for sure watch it next week. And then I want to scroll back here a little bit. We'll get to The Abyss. That's our movie club pick, so we will get to that in a little bit here. Now, does anyone, Tony G. Wiz, do you have any thoughts on Summer School, Tombstone? Okay, Sopranos is a big blind spot for me too.
Yeah, me too. So no spoilers, please, if you please.
Wedge would love to know what you thought about the Christmas eps, The Mandalorian. And Pathos, of course, want to hear about what you have to say about Untamed Heart, KFP, as I refer to Kung Fu Panda, Green Mile, I, Frankenstein. So anyone feel free, and I really quickly want to talk about Adventure Time, though, because I feel like we were there for a second.
Oh, sure.
I was a little thrown by the backstory for the Ice King, because I was remembering something different as his backstory. So I was like, wait, is that canonical? And I think that was my own confusion. It has nothing to do with the show. Once I got over that, I really, really enjoyed it. And I thought the Simon Petrov thing was really tragic. The fact that he was like this scientist who like morphed over time because the crown infected him.
Yeah. That character makes me very uncomfortable.
Does he? The Ice King?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's like a very good villain. Anti-villain. It's complicated. I wish I knew a little bit more about Adventure Time because I've only seen maybe 5 episodes. So I feel like, I didn't even understand what you were talking about when you said the land of Oz. So,
I know. Well, look, we should watch more of it.
But
I really love that show, and yeah. I know that Wedge, and Benit love it.
Well, it's also been recommended to me.
Benit does
many times. So it's a blind spot for me for sure.
We should dedicate an entire show to what a confusing, disastrous movie I, Frankenstein was. I didn't see I, Frankenstein. I haven't seen Van Helsing, I, Frankenstein, Tom Cruise's The Mummy, Dracula Untold. So
Tom Cruise is The Mummy.
yeah, it came out a year ago, 2019, I think.
I forgot that happened.
Yeah. So Universal was trying to do their was trying to do a cinematic universe called the Dark Universe, which was all of their so edgy, but it was just all their classic. I'm pointing to the classic monsters over here. You know, Wolfman, Frankenstein, the Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon, etc. They were trying to do like a universe where they combined them all. The new Elizabeth Moss Invisible Man was part of that, and then kind of they were just like, it's a standalone story because the Dark Universe wasn't doing well at all. Well, it was part of the same reboot cycle.
Wow.
And then they just kind of were like, it's not connected because Tom Cruise's was supposed to be the anchor or the tentpole, and it flopped.
So they were trying to do like a Marvel thing?
Yes. With classic monsters. So I, Frankenstein was an early version of that with, I want to say Aaron Eckhart is Frankenstein in it, or the monster. Anyway, tell me more. And we also have, this is a very active chat tonight, which rules, but I want to keep up with it. Wedge is also talking about dogs. Alan is a do. His mom's dog, Archie, is a roo. Snoo. Moo. Okay.
I feel like, well, let's say on the count of 3 what we think June is.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. June
Goo.
and Roo. Goo is not an option.
Pooh.
Pooh is not an option.
Oh, it's not?
Well, maybe it is.
Junie Poo.
Oh, yeah. Junie
Poo.
Poo. I think she's a Roo, though.
Junie Roo. It doesn't roll off the tongue the same. Oh, that's Alan.
It is an Alan. Is that the only time we see the real world meld with the land of Ooh? I think we see it. There's a 2-part episode.
Junie Boo.
Boo is good.
That's
it's a
the
boo.
one.
There's a 2-part episode, end of season 2, beginning of season 1, I want to say, called 2 episodes. One's called Finn the Human, and the other is called Jake the Dog. And that actually takes place in the real world as well, and kind of shows those characters through multiple realities as they became who they were. And that was the 2-part episode that I thought might have been at odds with the Simon Petrov backstory, but I was wrong, and it tampered with my enjoyment of the episode, which I hate.
Okay, so are we on a trajectory still with Adventure Time? Because I want to talk about Pathos's comment.
Well, I do want to acknowledge that. Oh, Pooh is definitely an option. So it's all ooze. I was wrong.
There we go.
Adventure Time is one of the best cartoons you got from Wedge. I've only seen like season 1. I was obsessed with season 1. I worked at Toy Joy when it came out. We got all the first line of toys. I actually have a Finn and Jake sitting around here that were from the first year they produced toys. And I watched it. And the thing is, like, I watched it with 2 friends, Max and Vineet. Vineet, who is Great Job Nerds in the chat. Max, who's not online. And we were obsessed. And then at a certain point, I fell off. Max fell off. And then Vineet just watched the entire thing and knows the whole legacy and lore and loves it. And I feel like I need to revisit it because I loved it for a while. Like, earnestly, like, a cartoon I could watch during the middle of the day, and usually that makes me feel stressed out.
Oh, you know what? That's interesting. Just to have a quick tangential. I always have such a hard time saying that word. Tangent.
You need to go on a tangent about it?
I see what I did there. That was a meta moment. I get really anxious and stressed out typically watching anything animated in the evening, especially if it's really late at night, like past midnight. I'm like, And you said in the afternoon?
Yeah.
I'm curious. I wonder if there's like, if everyone has like a time of day where they're like, no cartoons.
Maybe. Check. There we are. We're back. All right, we're back. Don't even know what happened. Weird. Well, thanks for bearing with us, y'all.
Well, I did a fun little charade. I played some charades with the chat, so it was good.
Love it. We were just talking. What are we saying when we got so rudely interrupted? The dog isn't even in here. I have no idea what happened. Slightly concerning. Haven't seen Untamed Heart. Would really love to watch Untamed Heart. And then also Pathos said, and I wrote it down, and then Pathos said the Mummy movie wasn't good, but the video game that was licensed from it was amazing.
Okay.
Usually that's not the case.
Sorry, I didn't listen to what you said just now. I'm going to be totally honest, because apparently we missed a follow notification, which was part of the, happened the exact time we lost audio.
Gotta dance. We gotta dance for that. Thank you so much.
I don't know why I did this cheerleader thing.
Oh, wow. Wedge said another great aspect of Adventure Time is that
great.
Eventually...
It looks like Tag and Bag 187 is the person who followed us.
Welcome, Tag and Bag 187. Okay, I'm going to scroll all the way down here. Video Store Illuminati. Okay, I'm going to scroll all the way down here. If you have any thoughts on Adventure Time, what Wedge was saying was that in the later seasons, it's just world exploration. No longer even about Finn and Jake.
Oh, so another Herald?
Oh,
no!
Another Herald.
We won't do that to you again.
Wedge really liked the Mummy movie, and you're talking about the Tom Cruise Mummy movie here. Check. There we go. I know what it is, y'all.
Did you figure it out?
I did, and I removed it. It won't happen again. So we have a little plug-in that means whenever we get a sub, there's a tiny little animated creature that appears on our screen and does a little dance that has a little music with it. And one, I just realized if it's glitching out when we get follows, we haven't seen or heard of from that bear tonight. So something about the browser plugin notification link. Something about the link that was in our OBS was incorrect, so when we got a follow, it was triggering a freeze.
You said, I laughed so hard because you said we haven't seen or heard from that bear tonight, and this such a grounded. You're like, look, I haven't seen or heard from that bear tonight, so don't even talk to me about
Honey Nut
audio.
Cheerios.
Also, Tony G was said silent film No.
We are going to have, I'm warning y'all,
That's because I was...
probably in January, we're going to have a silent film week. I love silent film. I realized something about myself last night. I was looking through all these different DVDs and like, it was like late at night. I'm procrastinating because it feels like it should be the holidays, but I still got to work in the morning.
Silent film nerd. Silent film nerd. Silent
Film. No speaking dialogue. Words on intertitles explain the plot. People have makeup and it's
a lot.
I really love silent films. I realized this about myself last night. Looking to procrastinate, stay up late. I thumbed through all these DVDs and I eventually just put on, I didn't finish it yet, but I put on a movie called Body and Soul, directed by Oscar Micheaux from 1920. And I just love, silent film makes me so happy. It was a warm, happy place for me. So we're definitely going to be doing a silent film week. And by the way, thank you to Dingle Dangle 30.
Yes. Oh, we have to do a dance.
We have to do the dance. And to T and Bag 187. I'm loving the names of the people who have subbed tonight. Love it.
Yeah, and also thank you, Pathos, for letting us know that Pokemon is a bear called Spinda.
Spinda. Oh!
Or that bear is a Pokemon called Spinda.
That's a Pokemon?
Apparently.
Well, we had to let that one go. So we're not going to be catching them all.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, what else did we watch this week? Okay, I know that I just want to recap. We got some really good recommendations. We love your recommendations. And if you're just joining us, you're in a video store. We love talking with the chat. So please tell us what you watched this week and if you'd recommend anything to us. Now, Untamed Heart, Christian Slater and Marissa Tomei.
Mm-hmm. Your eyes got big.
Memphis Belle, which is our miss, we need to watch. And then Summer School, Tony G. was recommended with Mark Harmon in it. I'm stoked.
I'm excited too. I think most people have kind of let us know in the chat what they've been watching. I think like I was saying earlier, I was kind of a passive viewer this week, but you had some. I think I only watched one other thing besides The Abyss with you.
Yeah.
I mean, and Christmas special.
Okay, well, let me go through. This is what we normally do. The first third of the show, we do what did you watch this week? We want to hear from you. Now we're going to tell you what we watched. And this is our Siskel and Ebert part of the show, okay? So these aren't all new releases. If you've seen any of them, we'd love to know what you think. And basically, we're just going to tell you what we watched, tell you a little bit about what we thought, and tell you if we recommend it or not. We don't do star ratings. We don't do thumbs. We don't do scores out of 10. But what we do is tell you if we think you should watch it or not.
Sorry.
I'm really this is why we're dating. Because you laughed at that. Okay, the first thing that we did watch together.
Hey, great job, nerds. Welcome to the chat.
What up, homie? I watched Fury Road twice. I might watch that tonight.
Black and gray?
Did you watch the black and chrome version, bruh?
Oh, sorry, black and chrome.
Black and chrome? Black and gray? Okay, I've said this before on the show. I'm going to be super hyperbolic right now, but I mean it. I love Fury Road. I love it. I adore it. I think it's great. I think that Fury Road, in its black and chrome version, somehow the lack of color pops what's going on, makes it just nothing but movement, sound, and light. And I think it is one of the best movies. Like, I think that it in its black and white version might be the best action movie I've ever seen. Maybe. I don't know. Open to be challenged on it, but I've had trouble shaking if I think that or not.
Well, if you've had trouble shaking, all you got to do is move your body from side to side real fast.
It's one of the best movies of all time, period. Agree, Wedge. And I think that when I saw Black and Chrome, I was like, did this just beat T2 for my number one action spot? Maybe it did. We watched this together. This is called a low budget bootleg Christmas. Now, longtime watchers of the show might remember when we watched these two low budget bootleg Halloween tapes. And all of these come from the same place. They come from a fella named Ivan Beza, and you can find him on Instagram at Low Budget Bootleg Video. He does these. We bought these from him. They were $10 each. And what he does is he puts together a mixtape of things to approximate a television broadcast from like the 80s or 90s, centered around the holiday, and then it's around 2.5 hours long, puts it on tape. They are a delight to watch.
I mean, we had the tree on. We had snacks. We had the animals cuddling up. We had candles lit. I had a glass of wine.
Ooh.
I mean, blankets, pajamas.
It was so cozy.
And the VHS or the tube TV, like, a little too close.
Felt really good.
So good.
And there was Saved by the Bell Christmas episode on here.
Yeah.
Married with Children on here.
Yeah.
And then just really what makes it for me is all the commercials.
I know. It's funny how when you see those commercials, you're like immediately taken back. You're like, I remember these commercials beat for beat. And I remember it being like the holiday season being like, oh my God. Oh, I think I turned to you and I said, oh man, my buzzkill every time watching those commercials was these items are sold separately.
Right, for the action figures.
God damn it. Every time. I was like, really? It comes with all this stuff? And then it was like, no, I gotta buy one thing.
Crushing.
Yeah.
Crushing. Well, anyway, I think I would heartily recommend checking out this guy's videos, and you can. Now, you do need a VCR OBS, but I think that these are just such a delight, and I'm so happy I stumbled across them this year because they've truly made Halloween and Christmas feel cozy within a weird year.
So fun.
Okay, well, here's one that I watched on my own. This is the next thing I watched. This movie called Vibes. I've talked about this before. I talked about it when it arrived at the store. It was part of our new arrivals like a month or two ago. This is Jeff Goldblum and Cyndi Lauper and Peter Falk are in this movie. This was a total bomb when it came out. People hated it. It got very bad reviews. It's essentially a screwball comedy about psychics. Cyndi Lauper plays a character who has a ghost friend who tells her things about other people or the future, and Jeff Goldblum has a power where he can hold any object and tell you where it's been. And they together are enlisted by Peter Falk, who's just playing the most screwball, crazy character, like this con man, to basically go find the lost Incan city of gold. It's a corny ass plot. It's crazy. The last third completely falls apart. But you know what? I'm going to say I recommend this to fans of corny 80s comedies. I recommend it to fans of Goldblum, of Cyndi Lauper. It wasn't good. I certainly wasn't unhappy I watched it. I had a really good time watching it. It was comforting. This is my kind of, like, this is your sometimes at the end of the night you need to put on HGTV or whatever. This is my HGTV. This is my House Hunters. Just in one ear, out the other, but I'm charmed and I'm entertained. Psychometry. Oh, is that? Oh yeah, it's Psychometry.
It sounds like it should be like a CBS show, like Bones or something.
The Toucher on CBS. He touches, then he knows.
I think we need to.
No, it's been greenlit as The Toucher. The posters have been made. Okay.
You don't want to have
the posters are made.
You don't want to have like an ideation session.
Nope.
Okay.
It's The Toucher. Tuesdays on CBS.
All right.
He's coming to tickle you. He's coming to tickle you.
He's coming to touch your stuff. Tuesdays at 7. He's coming to touch your stuff.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the one we watched together, or should I just get my shit out of the way? Would you prefer that I just talk through the things I watched, or that we hop to the big one we watched?
You just talk through the things you watch, and then we did watch this together.
We did.
Which I totally forgot.
Let's talk about that. We watched a couple specials from this. Now, this is one of my prized possessions. It's not hard to find. I really recommend it. I actually think it's pretty cheap. This is called The Cameraman's Revenge and Other Fantastic Tales. But what it is 7 or 8 collected shorts from this guy named Ladislav Starovich, who is a Russian stop-motion innovator. Thank you. So these are produced through the back. On the back it says 1912 through 1958. And this guy was one of the innovators of stop-motion animation. He specifically used taxidermied animals and insects. So we watched his Christmas specials. The first of which, from 1912, is The Insect's Christmas, which is it's a Santa Claus ornament climbs off the tree and goes and gives Christmas to the insects outside. Mm-hmm. It's very cute.
So cute. Okay, I'm just going to say this. This shit is magical. I mean, if you're a fan of stop motion and you have not seen these, like, you got to do it.
Huge proponent of this guy. Now, there are 2 DVDs released only in France and the UK of his other work. There's a 5-disc box set of his other work, and then there's a feature-length film he made with a dead fox called Tale of the Fox, which is a fairy tale. Both of which are Region B, and I'm hoping that we can invest in them. So Santa, putting that energy out there.
Because you need a region
free DVD player. The world. I'm realizing.
I'm sorry. What was the second one?
Oh, I'm sorry. The second one was
it was like the little. It was the little.
It was called Winter Carousel.
Yeah.
And it was from '58. That was the really interesting thing is we watched.
You go.
Oh, I was gonna say you go.
We watched a
45 years between the same creator.
Between 2 projects from the same creator that were both stop motion. It was insane. It was so cool. Oh. Highly recommend. I was like, wow. And
what's so interesting is you can see, I mean, obviously the budget, the technical prowess improves so much, but the first one has so much grit and idea.
And charm.
And charm, yeah. And the second one is Technicolor glory, and it felt like it could have been broadcast on ABC in 1955. Yeah. Really, really fantastic stuff. Grab a cream stick from the kitchen? I don't know. I don't know what that means, Pathos, but yes. And also, stop motion, talking about cream sticks, when I was 15, using my dad's camera, I made my first stop motion short, which was a Go-Gurt inchworming along the counter and emptying itself into a bowl.
Are you serious?
It's somewhere on tape at my parents' house.
Oh, no.
Hush your mouth. NDA. Wait, what did I sign an NDA about?
I have no
Yo, low-key, great job, nerd. Just made me scared for a second because I have actually signed 2 NDAs in the past month. But I think I'm fine.
What were we talking about?
Something bad. Okay, what else did we watch? Okay, and then on the tip, we watched 3 things together, I'm realizing. And then on the tip of short experimental stuff, I watched 3 things on my own. I watched 3 Georges Méliès short films. If you don't know Georges Méliès, go find Georges Méliès immediately. That's Georges Méliès. If you've ever seen the movie, what's it called? Hugo, Scorsese's Hugo. This filmmaker, Méliès, is played in the movie by Sexy Beast. Why can't I remember his name? Oh my god.
In Hugo?
Yeah. Oh my god, Gandhi, Sexy Beast. Ben Kingsley. Jesus.
Kingsley.
Anyway, Ben Kingsley kills it in this movie. In Hugo. But Georges Méliès was the original fairy tale creator. He had a giant glass studio outside of the city, outside of Paris. And he and his wife independently financed and shot hundreds of films where he developed some of the very first uses of dual plane, of set building, of cutting tricks, a lot of early cinematographic and photographic tricks. He saw himself as a magician. He referred to himself as a cinemagician. And a lot of his early stuff, like I'm talking like 1896 early, because this dude was there with Edison and the Lumieres at the beginning of the movies and had more vision than anybody. Seriously, the first true hero of the cinema. He would make magic tricks, like he would like do things where he was juggling his own head, or he would do playing like stuff we think of as old hat now.
That's that just made me think of that scene in the Labyrinth. Dance magic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Chili Down Now.
The Chili Down Now.
Yeah, that might be a reference to that.
I was gonna say it's the demon. What I forget what it's called, but the demon, the Night of the Demons, or not the Night of the Demons, but the Méliès demon short where they do that, where they're juggling.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Where they're dancing and.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, I'm sure it's in there because Henson's got to be inspired by this guy.
For sure.
And of course, you probably everyone actually knows who this guy is because you've all seen the moon with the rocket in its eye. Mm-hmm. That's 1902. That's A Trip to the Moon. Anyway, my point is that's his most famous movie. My point is that I watched 3 of these. One was called Joan of Arc. It was just an story of Joan of Arc.
Sorry.
Very straightforward. Fat and lean wrestling match. I love fat and lean wrestling match because this is a 4-minute short where two men wrestle each other, but to cartoonish extremes where he's using cuts of the camera to make their bodies turn into dummies so their arms can be pulled off and popped back on. It's super entertaining and funny. These are mostly on YouTube for free, by the way. Fat and lean wrestling match. And then The Christmas Dream. The Christmas Dream from 1900, I watched right after we watched the SpongeBob Christmas special.
Oh.
And the reason I did that was because SpongeBob is 2000 and The Christmas Dream's 1900. And so I wanted to watch two Christmas specials, both kind of aimed at a youthful or kid audience, 100 years apart. And I will tell you, we have not changed that much, y'all. It's the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's the same sparkly lights, fun effects, goofy jokes, slapstick.
Speaking of goofy jokes, I had to drop an LOL in the chat.
Oh. Cinematographmentationology. Cinematographmentationology. Oh, the villain in the live action Thunderbird's crazy.
Yeah, and just to pop way back up in the chat to Pathos, I think you're referencing something akin to an eclair, and the answer is yes. But yeah, Ben Kingsley.
Cool. So, big wreck there. And I'm trying to keep this section going.
Yeah.
I finally saw this, War for the Planet of the Apes. I love this trilogy. I think it is one of the best, it might be the best trilogy of its decade. Really slept on. I still think Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is my favorite, but I still hadn't seen this until last night. Now
You watched that last night?
Yeah, well, I watched half of it the night before and half of it last night.
You are
was
a
up
night
late.
owl.
Yeah, I was up really late.
My lord.
I really loved this movie. I think that it was a little like, I don't want to say let down, but I think the stakes or the scale was different than I thought it would be. I think going in, I don't want to spoil anything, but I think I thought maybe it would be a little broader, and I think I had to tell myself afterwards, no, the scale was dialed back because that's where it is in the timeline. But I still love this trilogy. I just think it is so good. And Dawn remains my favorite. You haven't seen these except the Rise, right? The first one?
I've seen the first two.
Oh, you have? No, you haven't seen the second one because...
Oh, we stopped because I started crying.
Yeah, you got emotional about the apes.
I had a baby panic attack and started crying. And I was like, I can't finish this
We'll get
right
there.
now.
Well, this one has some pretty lovable characters and some very sweet moments. This one had a lot of heart. I really do love what Matt Reeves did with this trilogy, and I'm really happy I finally saw it. So I forgot to do my recommendation thing, but all these are... This is a big wreck, but I recommend the whole trilogy. Dawn is the second one, right, Vineet? And Vineet also said the SpongeBob special, which is great. I love eps where Squidward learns a lesson. Yeah, I do too. Mm-hmm. It was very charming. And yeah, it is so good. Dawn is by far it's the Empire Strikes Back of the trilogy. It's the best. And this one I think felt like the Return of the Jedi. It felt like, okay, that's solid. I'm good. And I'm not a little kid, so I'm not more prone to love it. Anyway, we watched 2 things together.
We did.
We watched 3 things together. One was The Abyss, which we'll get to for Movie Club.
Mm-hmm.
One was, and I think you forgot this one, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I did / didn't. I remembered about 5 minutes
after. Do we need to talk about it?
No, we don't. We rewatched. We're working our way back through the Marvel Cinematic Universe and in order. So.
And we're on Ant-Man and the Wasp. We watched it. Mm-hmm. It's solid. It's fun. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. It's a solid movie. That's been talked about a lot.
And let's open.
Yeah, the opening shot. Oh my God. Sorry.
Oh, of this?
No,
I
Dawn.
mean, of Dawn.
Yeah.
I'm
with the
trying to
lightning.
remember it.
It's just Caesar's face.
That's
Caesar the ape's face.
That's probably where my panic attacks
You're like, he looks like a person.
Oh my God.
I cannot take it.
Sometimes, y'all, it just depends on where my chemicals and hormones are oscillating.
Yeah, well, you know what we need to watch too that's going to probably make you cry? I've been on a real monkey tip. I got Ape Escape in the mail for PlayStation 1. I've been playing that. I finished War for the Planet of the Apes. I just got Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes because I know it's terrible, but I want to watch it. I pulled out the box set. I'm going to watch through the original. And then I rewatched King Kong a few weeks ago.
Well, you also pitched that Planet of the Apes to me.
Oh, I did.
You pitched it to me, and then you went, let's watch... No, I don't want to do that to you.
Yeah, I was like, no.
Like the same beat.
No. I'll do that on my own. It's too shameful to do with someone there. King Kong as well, and I really want to watch King Kong Skull Island, but I want to watch King Kong. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Hell yeah.
No, my mail.
Right there with you, bruh. I really want to watch Skull. I wasn't even looking at the chat. I really want to watch Kong Skull Island. I loved it. I really want to rewatch it. And on the note of King Kong, I want to watch the remake of King Kong now, the Peter Jackson version. And that was my point. I think that is going to make you cry.
All right.
Have you seen the remake of the Peter Jackson remake when it came out?
I think so.
Surely. I think like everyone saw it.
Yeah.
Well, it's emotional.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other movie we watched together that wasn't our movie club pick of the week, we did watch The Abyss. We'll get to it. But we watched...
Is there an article?
An article? No, it's just... No.
Okay.
There's a lot of articles about how it was... how we should not have watched it, but we watched it.
I just wanted to go... No. I won't, though. Can I say it?
Oh man, Wedge, you are gonna love it. Yes, please do say it. It's total. I just talked about everything I watched, and dude, I feel like I talked enough. Please.
All right, we watched Fat Man.
Fat Man. We were looking for a Christmas movie to watch.
And I was like, "What's that one with Mel Gibson? What's Us Really Grounded?" And you were like, Fat Man? I was like, yeah, we're watching it. Put it on.
We watched Fat Man with Mel Gibson and Walter Goggins. Now, how much do we talk about Mel Gibson and the fact that we watched this movie? I don't know. I know that when this movie was announced, my Twitter feed blew up with people mad that anyone had greenlit it. I'm going to say I really liked this movie. It's flawed. It's not perfect. But damn, it was a good time watching... Mel Gibson was excellent in it, and Walton Goggins was excellent in it.
I mean, yeah, it's tough to say. It's tough to be like, yeah, Mel Gibson was amazing, and Walton Goggins was amazing as well. I said to Adam after that movie, and this is so true. I mean this, it's so genuinely. That was the most entertained I had been watching a new movie, like a fresh, new released movie in. I can't remember when.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, I think for me, the last time I felt that entertained by a Hollywood movie was probably Bad Boys 3. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's just because it's got an absurd premise, so the premise is this spoiled, rich, asshole kid hires a hitman to kill Santa. And Santa is a small business entrepreneur who has been receiving government subsidies to based on his output to provide Christmas cheer because that stimulates the economy. And it's got this kind of, it doesn't really know we talked about this after the movie. We're like, it doesn't really know what it wants to say about the economy or about capitalism. It definitely has a middle finger up to the man holding the little guy down. It feels very pro small business. It's also just best enjoyed, I think, if you see it pretty purely. I mean, I say read into everything. You can't possibly overanalyze anything. I've said that before here, but I feel like this movie, maybe the script wasn't as smart as it thought it was, but it's more fun than it thinks it is. Yeah,
I would agree with that. And like I'm not gonna like go into what our final takeaways were because I don't really want there to be spoilers. Not that I don't know if it matters, but to that point, we both had almost strictly opposite reactions to the final few moments of the movie.
Oh, and what we thought it meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which probably just means that I was right about it and you were wrong, but it could also mean that the movie... I'm just joking.
Wow.
No, I think, to your point, yeah, I think it's because it maybe isn't sticking the landing for either point.
Yeah.
But...
Because I hadn't considered what you were thinking, really, and you hadn't considered what I was thinking, really, and both of us were like, oh, dang. Like, we both were, like, so,
oh, I can see that. Oh, that throws a wrench in my theory. Yeah. It's like, well, maybe the script just doesn't know what it's trying to say.
Yeah.
Or maybe it does. The point is like, to what you were saying, it doesn't matter because it was fucking entertaining as hell. Mm-hmm. Just watching, it's played so grounded. Mel Gibson is played like, the existence of Santa is still secretive in the sense that most people don't really realize it exists, but we're seeing behind the curtain and seeing that he is a magical being. He does have auto-healing features. He's got some Wolverine powers, but he walks around like everyone else. He's got an adorable relationship with Mrs. Claus.
Cute.
Who is played by, I'm going to need to figure her out, because I recognized her from television, from BBC, and I'm going to figure it out. So I really had a great time. I do want to say, yes, Vineet, we are talking about Fat Man, but I also want to say he was on a second or third date for the King Kong remake, and his date was mad because he didn't touch her or put his arm around her, but it was because he was on the edge of his seat the whole time. True. That's actually very romantic for the cinema.
I will say one of the other, like, not debates necessarily, but like discussions we got into about Fat Man was, I was like, I feel like maybe that was skirting the line of like what's appropriate, like trying, and we started talking about like what defines satire, and like, you know, is this not, like, we went on a whole.
By the way, Mrs. Claus in it is from, I recognized her from Broadchurch, which is a show I really like, with David Tennant.
Yeah.
We were talking about the satire aspect of it. I think that I just disagreed with your use of the word satire. I actually think we agreed. And I think I was just being stricter and nerdy about, like, if it's satire, that means it's making fun of what it's doing. But I think that it wasn't doing that. I think it was just I think it was blatantly making fun of it. I don't think it was making fun of it by being it. You know what I mean? Like, I think of RoboCop as satire because so many people think it's actually about how badass cops are.
Yeah, and I think the conclusion we came to is that it had social commentary, but it was difficult to understand what side of the line that social commentary was falling on, because it's like a grounded, gritty Santa movie. So that's why I was thinking, that's why satire, like, was... Anyways,
I get what you're saying.
We were just talking about, like, the, you know, like,
how do you draw the line there?
Yeah.
I think it just, again, goes back to the, like, I think the script is like, what if we explored the idea of elves as, like, but no, they like being there. Anyway, we need to get back to the plot.
Yeah.
I liked the elves in this. I liked the way they very calmly talked about their diet and how it meant they lived longer. Essentially, like, I'll just, without spoiling anything, the premise also includes the military asking, like, Santa has to, Chris, as he's known, has to take a military contract to survive as a businessman, which he feels is antithetical to his purpose. And there's military folks, and you get some fun fish out of water stuff with, like Marines talking to elves. And there's some fun stuff there, too. It's played pretty straight.
Yeah. And I mean, I would just say, like, you know, we always say, like, do we recommend, do we not? I would say, like, take it or leave it, whatever your takeaways or, you know, lack thereof are, because we were both, based on the script, a little confused at the end of the day. I still stand by the fact that this was a very entertaining movie to watch. And
I want to say that even though we may have not stuck the landing, I still do think that I think, not to redredge an old argument, but I do still think that I do think that this had a progressive heart at its core.
Yeah, I agree, because one of the things that kind of kicked off our conversation was the fact that in this reality, Santa's gifts kind of dictate what the kids' futures are, what their future professions are, what they're, like, destined to become. And the villain of this movie, the only toy he's ever received from Santa is a tiny little cop car.
Which I didn't even realize, put the two and two together there, and I'm glad you pointed that out. But, I mean, and that, to that extent, this was shot this year. It was shot in February. Right before a lot of things came into the conversation, but I do think they're in the movie. And I think that more than anything, this movie really foreshadows what we saw with small businesses struggling during COVID.
Yeah.
Because the movie is very much, and this is why I think it has a progressive heart. Even if it doesn't quite know what it wants to say about capitalism, even if the ending, I think this movie is
ambiguous.
But maybe it's not. Maybe we're not giving it credit. Maybe the reason we're arguing over is Santa become, and without spoiling plot details, is Santa giving into the system or is Santa a victim of it at the end? Maybe it's because the movie is not a satire, but a critique of how capitalism does away with our humanity to the point where it even affects Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And in that regard, maybe it does stick the landing.
Everything is capitalism's fault.
Well, maybe it does. Like, maybe actually the movie does have a point. Maybe we weren't meeting in the middle because we were both wanting to be right and we didn't give the movie a fair shot. Maybe the movie is about moral compromise, and that's why it feels like it could go either way.
Yeah.
I think I'm liking it more the more we talk about it.
Yeah. Well, say and think what you will about Mel Gibson being, cast, put in the spotlight, whatever, however you want to phrase it.
Mel Gibson said and done some terrible things. If you feel that you can watch a movie with him in it and appreciate him as an actor, I would recommend this movie. If he's going to make you be in a bad headspace, avoid the dude.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
But I think as far as Santa movies, as far as Christmas movies go, I think I might be returning to this one / trying to buy it for the store.
Me too. I was like, "Ooh, is this in my regular rotation now?"
Yeah, I really dug it.
I think it might be.
Well, rad. I feel like I had one more thought there, but screw it. I've had enough thoughts tonight. We'll get to new arrivals.
Let's do new arrivals. Just a quick reminder, we did say that we were going to try to wrap up a little early tonight because we do have a production meeting for our company, Baby Lion Studios. But, if we go a little over, we might speed through new arrivals, is basically what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, and then we're going to come back. We're going to speed run new arrivals, and then we're going to talk about The Abyss.
Yes, we are.
I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go.
Oh. I'll go. Speed runs. Hey, I love that one. Wedge, you should definitely watch Fat Man. What? Okay, so another thing we were talking about this week was starting to integrate. Okay, we were bringing up, all right, speaking of regular rotation, like, what are the must-watches for the holiday season? And as we started sort of sifting through what our must-watches, our return watches are, it's funny because both of us separately had moments where we were like, no, it's too soon for that. I.e., like, especially with specific Christmas specials, we like to wait until, like, the week before Christmas to just really, get that spirit so high. But I think on our list right now, we have, every year we watch Pee-wee, Pee-wee's special. Home Alone was one in my family that we watched almost every Christmas Eve. Almost every year in my family as well, we watched It's a Wonderful Life. What else? Oh, Scrooged. We watch every year. The Muppet Christmas. A Muppet Fair. What is it called? What is the actual name of that? Somebody in the chat help me out. Let's see. Pathos. Christmas Vacation. Okay, we actually brought up Christmas Vacation like yesterday, I think, when we were talking about Christmas movies and Christmas specials that we need to make sure we don't miss out. And I think that was when we watched... Oh, thank you. A Muppet Christmas Carol. That's right. I think that's when we watched last year. And it's not in our normal rotation. So we'll see if it comes into play this year. But A Muppet Christmas Carol is a must-watch every year. Oh, it's so good. And Scrooge is great as well. That's another one. Die Hard. Yes. We... did watch Die Hard last year, and it was upon Adam's insistence, I believe, and then he fell asleep. Like, okay, we're talking about must-watches for the holiday season.
Ooh, yeah. Well, we made a list, right?
Mm-hmm.
We made a list of the Christmas stuff we wanted to make sure we watched.
Yes.
Can I respond real quick to Wedge's thing here?
Yeah.
On Pathos, Muppet Christmas Carol, y'all.
Oh, I was asking because I couldn't remember the actual title. I was like, what is it? A Muppet Christmas Carol. Muppet.
Just
Pathos help me out.
A Muppet Christmas Carol is first of all, two things.
Uh-oh.
One, if you want to watch the full version of it, there's a song in it that is called Love Lets Us Down. What is it called? The cut song. I'm going to look it up. Muppet Christmas Carol cut song. It is called... Oh my god. When Love Is Gone. Okay, so it's a song called When Love Is Gone that is sung by Ebenezer Scrooge's Clara when he loses her. And it's cut because it was put in the theatrical version at Brian Henson's is part of his director's cut. And then the studio removed it. Disney removed it because they were like, it's boring. The kids don't want this part. And for that reason, that song, and then Brian Henson said, no, put it back. And then they removed it again, and then they lost the negative. So the full version of Muppet Christmas Carol only exists on the clamshell VHS and the very first DVD that has the same art as the clamshell VHS. But all subsequent DVD releases and all Blu-ray releases are cut by about 5 minutes. And I am on a quest to find... I'm on a quest to find the DVD version because I have a tape of it, but it's in storage.
Of course.
But just a weird, fun thing about Muppet Christmas Carol. The second thing that I have to say about that is that I didn't realize until recently when I was watching a different version of Christmas Carol, I'd forgotten that the line, Tiny Tim, who did not die, is a part of the...
the original... Or
the text.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the narration in the text, and Tiny Tim, who did not die, and it's so, like, that just gives me such an appreciation for Gonzo as a performer, because Gonzo's line read of that at the end of the Christmas Carol, Tiny Tim, who did not die, always gets me.
So good.
The best.
And yes, the Muppet Christmas Carol, Muppet Christmas Carol is so good.
Oh man, that might just be my staff pick this week. It's one of my favorites.
I was thinking that.
We're fair warning, probably getting into Christmas area now.
Yeah.
What are some must watches? We got Royal Tenenbaums, which I never think of as a Christmas movie. But I think good point. Die Hard I have to watch every year for sure.
I was saying last year you fell asleep.
Oh yeah, I did. I've seen it a lot.
You were so peaceful though. I was like, I'm just gonna let
it's Die Hard, man. Royal Tenenbaums, I remember loving that movie in high school and then taking my dad to see it, and he said, I don't get it, it's just about a grumpy old fart. And then I watched it later and I was like, he's right. It's about a grumpy old fart.
Being obsessed with that soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. Too.
Yeah.
Yep. I use that background music in all of my films that I made in high school.
I did too.
What are some other Christmas... Well, we made a list.
Oh, I was saying Scrooged, obviously Home Alone, It's a Wonderful Life,
Gremlins.
Gremlins
is a big one for me. We're going to watch a few horror ones this year. We're going to watch Christmas Evil.
Don't open till Christmas.
Elves.
Oh,
Love Actually is actually up there for me. I like Love Actually.
Yeah.
I love watching Love Actually.
That's a real fun one That's a fun one to revisit and just like be cozy and not care if you fall asleep or you get a little too tipsy or
have too much mother's lettuce.
If you have too much of mother's lettuce.
Oh, see, Tony G. Wiz loved mixed nuts for Christmas.
Dude, okay, I'm going to re-watch it.
We need to finish it.
AKA watch it.
We tried to watch it for our Nora Ephron week, and we gave up in favor of something else that was more familiar because it was late.
Yeah, it was late, but I'm here for it. I'm gonna give it a chance because I love Nora Ephron. I have not seen it. Yeah, Adam Sandler. He's so young. He's like this
baby in it.
He's like the male guy, right?
No, I think I don't remember enough at all about it.
I don't know. JC Penney's.
Here's a few Christmas movies that you might not be remembering to watch. Lethal Weapon. The Long Kiss Goodnight is one of my favorites. Really anything that is Shane Black. So Long Kiss Goodnight, Lethal Weapon, and Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 is a Christmas movie if you want to watch a Marvel movie. Eyes Wide Shut takes place at Christmas. Batman Returns is a Christmas movie. Go is a Christmas movie. Remember Go?
Mm-mm.
Go was like Doug Liman. It was like this selling fake ecstasy movie with Sarah Polley in the lead, I want to say. I think it's from 2000. Let's see, Go 2000. No, movie? Let's see. It had a pretty stacked 1999. Dang, that year. Doug Liman's first U.S. movie, I think.
99 in movies, dude.
Yeah. Sarah Polley, Katie Holmes, Jay Moore, Timothy Oliphant. It was a lot of like, I guess like hot young actors of the time.
Oh,
but
I remember that cover.
It's a fun movie.
Never seen
Yeah.
it.
Oh, it's a fun movie.
That that style of cover with like the shot looking, you know,
people looking cool,
looking up
like
with
the 90s.
Like something in the yeah.
Oh, like the Half-Baked cover.
Yeah.
You're right. The Senseless.
And Fight Club too.
Yeah.
It's like people holding objects close to the frame while they're in the background.
Yeah,
like,
it was like they were foreseeing the selfie.
Yeah. Oh
the
my
selfie
God.
angle. Weird.
That's true.
I
wonder if that plays into your.
I don't know. I'm writing a book, y'all, so you'll get it someday. Let's see here. Yeah, Scrooged, and then of course the GOAT for me, the must-watch every year. Not a movie, but Pee-wee's Christmas Special.
Oh, of course. Which
we found for $4 on eBay on tape, and I have a DVD of it that I was gifted years ago because it's always been my favorite. But we're trying to watch some cozy, just watching stuff on the VCR on that tube TV. It's so cozy.
So nice.
So we got.
Which, by the way, is the same tube TV I've had since middle school or high school, and it's the same TV I watched the episodes of Buffy that I filmed on Monday nights on.
What?
Yeah.
That is cool as shit. I didn't realize that. So it's like a blessed TV.
Oh, it is my blessed TV.
I love that. I'm going to be more careful when I move it around.
Yes, you do.
Go killed the rave scene is what Tony G. Wiz said. I believe that because it was like maybe like.
Oh, that.
I think you just killed the rave. I think you just resurrected and then murdered the rave scene again. Bro. It's like Swingers did with swing music. Okay.
New arrivals?
I feel like I blew up the Christmas combo.
No.
Do you have the could you pass me the mouse so I can play the arbitrary transition video that takes place between these two segments? Hi man, I thought you got that thing demoused to Now we can do new arrivals. Okay, y'all.
New arrivals.
New is, I think that's what it says. We can't hear it, but it has some sort of a voice I put on there. I forgot, yeah. I think it's like a robot voice. Okay, y'all, new arrivals. Now, what happened here? What happened is that I'm in a really fun group on Facebook. The only reason I'm on Facebook, really, called. Well, I'm not going to tell you the name of the group because this is my secret space. Anyway, it's a really fun video collectors group. If you're part of the VHS collecting community in any way, I'm sure you're aware of it. But we're doing a Secret Santa right now. I got mine in the mail, and so I got laced up with a bunch of tapes there. Also, Stephanie and I both got COVID tests and then decided that we would go on one final shopping trip, double masked, to go get stuff for the holiday. We ended up going to a Half Price Books we don't go to very often. They had an amazing tape selection, and I walked out with about 10 tapes. And then on top of that, a bunch of delayed deliveries from weeks and months all came. So this is like an embarrassment of riches. It's a huge new arrivals section. I'm going to speed through it. But there's a lot here. So first of all, let's go ahead and just start with some of the... got Mega Man X5 for the PS1 in the mail. I love X4. It's the only Mega Man game that I've completed. It's a little scratchy. Look at that. It's a little scratchy, but they tell me that it plays. So I'm excited to start this one. As y'all know, UltraLoop also does retro game streams, some featuring yours truly. I'm probably going to do some sort of a vote on my Instagram for what retro game I should stream. So if you have strong opinions there, let me know. I have a lot of games, and I would love to stream some with you. Also, at Half Price, picked up the Bad 2001 Tim Burton Planet of the Apes and Sphere. I got to tell you that buying these three things together at Half Price felt really good. I really loved getting all these blue metallic DVDs from the same year. It reminded me of being a kid. Haven't seen Sphere in years. Probably haven't seen Sphere since.
Dustin Hoffman's in there?
Yeah. And I still remember when I watched this with my parents the year it came out, my mom said, I don't like Dustin Hoffman. He always mumbles. I can't understand him. I haven't seen this since I watched it after reading the book as a kid.
Oh, wow.
So this is and this has to, I feel like now that we've watched The Abyss, this has to be next.
Yeah.
And then Planet of the Apes, like I said, I'm on a monkey kick. Y'all, I'm going to be really real with y'all. This was a comfort buy because I really like the blue metallic shiny cover of it. It makes me feel like a kid. I don't know why. It was $3. I bought it. Okay, now it's here. It makes me feel good to look at. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, here we get into the big old tape stacks, baby. We're going to go through these really quickly. All right, here's one I got from my Secret Santa. It's Ghoulies. My brother had a poster of this movie in his room as a kid, and I sat backwards on the toilet for 2 years, from age 4 to 6. Apparently, the producer of this got several angry letters from parents saying similar stories. This is a Gremlins ripoff about a kid who gets into the black arts and summons a bunch of ghoulies. It's not great, but it is fun. Here's one I found at half price called Eye of the Tiger. This is Gary Busey. I love Gary Busey. This is back when Gary Busey was a real contender for like fantastic character actor. This is a revenge movie that also has Yaphet Kotto in it. So I am there. Some exploitation with young Gary Busey. Then we got a few that we got for our comedy section. You want to talk about this one? Here, I'll give you the ones that are yours.
Y'all have heard me talk about Nora Ephron and Sleepless in Seattle enough. But we are trying to curate like a little 90s rom-com section. So / my comfort food section. So we've got Sleepless in Seattle. Of course, we've got Sister Act 2. Y'all know that this was one of my favorite movies as a kid. And if you were here last week, you know that one of the other ones was Rocky. And of course, you have Sister Act 2, so you have to have Sister Act, okay? And this one is one that I watched a million times with my mom. I don't know why. We just rented it over and over again. My boyfriend's back.
I've never seen it. I'm excited to watch it. Fun fact about my crippling movie buying addiction. I have now purchased My Boyfriend's Back on Blu-ray and VHS this year, and I've never seen it. But sometimes that's the way the store goes. Watching things on tape feels nice. Also, finally, speaking of Christmas standards, picked up this one on the cheap. I think this was $1 at Half Price Books. Always nice to have a new Christmas standard in the mix. And while we were talking about Christmas specials, I was particularly excited to find this. Now, we do have the Rankin and Bass box set here, but it is in storage, and we're going to watch Rudolph, the classic Rankin and Bass Rudolph, on tape this year.
I didn't notice it has a golden book.
Yeah, it's like a re-release.
That's cute.
Isn't that cute? Going back to stuff I got from my Secret Santa, this looks awesome. I'd literally never heard of it. I'm going to lean forward a little bit. This is a movie about what if the WWE was half humans, half monsters fighting each other.
I'm excited about that.
I'm really excited about it too. As well as this weird looking one, Head of the Family, with this MODOK looking dude being a crazy effect driven thing from the mid 90s. Cellar Dweller, a really fun 80s movie about a comic artist whose creations come to life, has a brief cameo from Jeffrey Combs, genre legend at the top. And then here were a couple, these were two that I found at half price that I actually went, and Stephanie came over because she thought I like read a tweet saying something bad happened. But no, it's just because these are pretty hard to find, and they were $5 each at half price, and I had to grab them. These are superhero movies starring Mark Hamill. Okay, cool. Here, while we're on the Ghoulies, we'll go ahead and shout out that my Secret Santa also sent me a bootleg of Ghoulies 2 with a hand-drawn box.
I love the art.
It's so cool. And then finally, got a new Kurosawa movie on tape that I've never seen before, Dodes Kaden, which I've never seen before, but I do collect these international collection tapes. A lot of them, most of them, have been picked up by Giannis and put out through some issue of Criterion and gotten much better treatments. But I will say, the other day I did a little audit on the shelf of these, and about 5 or 6 of them, a few of which I think are some of the best movies I've ever seen, are only available through this label on VHS. One of them in particular, this is my humble brag, I guess. I bought it from the video store I used to work at. It's called A Gentle Woman. It's Robert Bresson. I love, you know him?
No, I'm sorry. It just the way the turn of phrase made it sound like the video store you used to work at was called A Gentle Woman.
Oh, that's funny. Sorry. I was just like, oh, you know Bresson. I thought you were getting excited. Sorry, making sure there's not a technical error here. Okay, cool. Anyway, it's called A Gentle Woman. It's super rare now, and I didn't realize that, and I will bootleg it for anybody who wants it because it's fantastic and more people should see it. Ooh. And then finally, we found this. I just had to pick this up, y'all. It's the widescreen version of Lost World. It's got a foil border, and it's got a lenticular T-Rex cover. Look at this.
I think lenticular is one of your favorite words.
Well, it's great.
Slash things.
I think I just like I just like it. Look at it. It's so pretty. I just think they're neat.
I just think they're neat.
It's a Marge quote. Do your Marge impression.
Oh, I can't. I'm bad. I can't do it. I'm working on it. The only one I'm like kind of good at is Bart.
Do it.
Jeez. Okay. God, what do I always say? Oh, right. No, I can't do it now.
Sorry, I'm in your head. It's hard. Simpsons voices are hard.
No, nobody lays a finger on my butterfinger.
That's a very good like season 1 Bart.
That's right. You always say that, and then I'm like, I gotta.
It's hard. It's perfect.
My butterfinger. I think he goes like down.
It is good. It's like Bart in a mood. It's just you have to like. I can't do any of them, so I don't know why I'm giving you tips.
I know, and then I always try to do Marge, and it sounds terrible. I always go, homie, and I end up sounding like a monster.
Say, we got beats!
We got beats?
We got beats!
I can't do it, because
we got beats!
I try to do, like, the vocal fry. I try to do the vocal fry that she has, and I end up growling. I end up going, we got beats!
Come here!
Come here!
Ow, homie!
Ow! Oh, it's so hard.
You're getting compliments. It's pretty good, they say. Stephanie, just imagine having a gigantic beehive of hair weighing down your head and you've got it. Oh, Lisa says that. We've got beats. Lisa's, I think, the hardest voice because the voice actor who does them, it's just their voice. I always think that's the hardest voices to replicate are people's natural speaking voices.
Yeah.
Like, can anyone do a good Tina from Bob's?
Oh. Really? No, that's hard.
Oh, I didn't realize that Guyver was an anime. Thanks, Pathos. That's a good thing to see. I haven't seen the Guyver movies, so I'm excited. Anyway, that was New Arrivals. Like I said, like I literally a few days ago was like, Stephanie, I don't know what to do with all these tapes. So we're gonna.
We literally just bought a new shelf for overflow.
You know what we're gonna have to go do tomorrow is go to I Love and pick up one of their shelves.
I was just talking about them. When you were...
Did you see the post they put up an hour ago?
No, I was just saying I drove by and they had these awesome...
You can go pick any of them up for free. We can go get one tonight if you want to.
Will it fit in my car?
I don't know. See, my car is out of commission right now. I need to replace the battery.
My heart's pounding.
And I really... Does anyone have a truck and is in Austin?
No!
Yeah, well, I was thinking we couldn't even fit one of the bigger ones. So I was thinking we could maybe go over there and see if there's one we could slide on a rope to the roof of your car with a blanket.
Ooh, that sounds dangerous.
We're like 10 minutes. We'll figure it out.
Okay, we'll figure it out. This is a conversation for after the stream.
Yes, for later on.
But I was just talking about how the comedy theater was shared a wall with the video store and blah, blah, blah. I was talking about physical spaces and how when we shared that wall, how when you were over at I Love, you could hear the comedy shows and the audience laughing. And when you were at Cold Town, you could hear the movies playing through the walls. And whenever you were on stage, if somebody had their kids upstairs, you could hear...
I remember being so mad
little kids
because you had worked so hard on your first one-woman show, Shattered Dreams, which is the poster signed by our homie John Cusack over here on the wall that we showed you last week. It was the first opening night of Shattered Dreams, which, by the way, Great Job Nerds designed the font and photo of the poster. Good. Very good work.
Nominated for Poster of the Year.
Yeah, it was. That's the kind of dude Great Job Nerds is. The kind of dude to get nominated for awards he doesn't know exist because he just is doing work for his friends. His shit rules.
Yeah.
He also is the person who did the logo you see under UltraLoop. So we love Great Job Nerds. He's one of our very favorite people in the world. But that's not my point. My point is that I was so defensive because it was your opening night of the show, and I heard all that banging, and I was like so defensive of you. And I was also producing, so I was also like trying to make sure you were on time and had your cues ready. And like, man, I just remember being so mad at those goddamn metal stairs. And now it all feels like so magical.
I know. It's like,
we were so close to worlds of art.
And
but at
also,
the time, it was like, shut the fuck up.
I know, but they also had like a dog that was always over there with really long fingernails. So you'd be doing a scene and you'd hear like, you remember that?
Yeah, I do. I remember that dog, and that dog was always so loud about his movie opinions too. He'd be like, well, I didn't like it that much. The dog was so pretentious. He was like, remakes, too many remakes. I was like, shut up, dog.
I just want to say hey to Cat Viewer in the chat as well as Glowcat.
What's up, Glowcat? And Cat Viewer, I'm loving that we have two cats back to back. What's up, Cat Viewer? Welcome back. And what's up, Glowcat? Welcome for the first time. Glowcat, I'm not gonna like put you on the spot here, don't worry, but I told you about Glowcat. Glowcat is a member of one of the video groups I'm in and tuned into the Castlevania stream I did.
Oh, that's right.
And that's why I was like, holy shit, this is so serendipitous. And
yeah.
And then the next day, and then the next day, guess what? Oh man, what a special moment of serendipity this is, because guess what? The last item for the new arrivals section tonight is Glowcat's mixtape.
Oh my gosh!
So Glowcat designs mixtapes, and literally this was the last item. Like this is not staged. This just happened.
I mean, we talked about serendipity last week, but you know, like you were saying, this is just a callback.
It is. It's a callback to serendipity. So this is widely revered among everyone who has seen it as one of the best, most awesome VHS mixtapes out. I am so stoked to watch it. I've actually been saving it. But basically, the timeline of the last week was the Secret Santa box arrived. This was a thing my Secret Santa gave to me, and I got it the day, mere hours after I had been streaming Castlevania with Glowcat. So welcome is my point. Sorry to put you on the spot. I just think that's a really cool story. I know, yes, it was so crazy. Just the timing. Movie Club Pick of the Week, Serendipity. You look, that might be a staff pick. It technically is Chris, or Stephanie tries to convince herself it's Christmas. And then I believe her because I love her.
I think it's a Christmas movie. Okay, look, it starts on Christmas, it ends on Christmas. It's bookended with Christmas.
It's a Christmas movie just as much as Die Hard is. Or Eyes Wide Shut. It's in the background. The Castlevania stream, thank you, Pathos. Hey, thank you for watching. Thank you for being there, Pathos. I did get close a couple times. Pathos was a huge help during that stream, by the way. Dropped me some pro tips, dropped me a video to watch, and got me close to ending a boss fight. Anyway, if you're new here, UltraLoop has game streams too, and if you sub, you'll see them. We're gonna see Aliens for Humans tomorrow night, which is our friends Joseph, Anna Stallman, and their kids who play Among Us together.
And they're so fun.
They're so fun. It's a great show.
So fun, so sweet.
Thursday, we're gonna do some live commentary with Alon, the boss of our network, for the Game Awards, and then there's always streams. I mean, tune in, subscribe. Keelan's always streaming games. Elon's always streaming games, and I just got the ability like less than a week ago. I don't know. Time means nothing. Maybe it was slightly more than that, to stream retro games.
Yep, and I have a secret show in the works that should be coming soon.
Yes. You know what? Eyes Wide Shut. Calling it now. Watch out, Wedge. Since you've decided to watch it, I'm going to make it my staff pick. That's my staff pick this week is Eyes Wide Shut. I used to think, don't know, haven't seen it in years, used to think it was my favorite Kubrick movie. Used to maybe even insist that it was his best movie. Now, that could be a stretch. I want to see how willing I am to fight hard for it after a rewatch.
How fighting I am to willing fart for it.
Now, I'm also so excited about your show, by the way. I'll get to Eyes Wide Shut later when we do our staff picks.
Thank you. Should we tease it or?
Yeah, tease it a little bit. Tell the people. People want to be teased.
Well, I'm nervous about teasing it because I don't know when it's going to be yet. You know what? Actually, just quickly, if you have an opinion on this, daytime, afternoon.
Yeah.
Does that seem like hot and fresh out of the oven for you, or like?
Well, most of our streams are evening streams, but we want to do more daytime content, and our schedules. Yeah, I think afternoon show. I mean, I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, which you can always, play it back or follow us on YouTube, Babyline YouTube. But basically, I've had this idea cooking for a while in my brain, and I've finally started to acquire some of the materials necessary. Now, this all sounds so cryptic, but really, it's just I've been writing since I was really, really young.
This big.
I was this
tiny.
And I've always thought oh, I'm a writer. I wrote a novella when I was in first grade.
Oh my God.
It's poetry. It's not good. I've always been obsessed with writing. And so I've been asking my mom to dig up all of my old writings, starting from as early as she can find. And so I'm going to start going through these stacks and stacks and books and piles of poetry and short stories and diary entries and all sorts of things, and doing cold reads of them live on Twitch. So these will be the first time I will be cracking these things open live with you in the chat, hopefully hanging out with me to experience all of the joy, the laughter, the embarrassment, the shame that comes with doing live cold reads of your old writing.
But that's not all, folks. I want to say the kicker is that's the genesis of the idea, but you're also going to be having comedians on as guests to help roast you. You're going to be inviting people on to bring their old writings. Yes. It's going to be very communal. So it's not that's the setup, but it goes further. It's
going to go further than that. We want to start a little small and see if there's interest, if we can drum up a little interest, and then we want to bring on comedians and other writers who have been writing for a really long time, and eventually maybe get into some things that you wouldn't expect a cold read of, something like an old letter or an old text message thread.
Ooh, it's gonna be a good show.
Yeah,
you're onto something here.
Thank you.
I'm really excited for it. So y'all make sure to subscribe to the channel, because we just variety is the name of the game here. We love everything, so we're gonna try and do everything. I love your idea.
Thank you.
And you've been talking about that for a while too.
I have.
It's developed idea.
It's been kicking around my brain.
You don't rush in.
I don't.
And Vanit's got your back.
And Pathos knows a professional writer. She's pretty damn cool. I believe it.
Oh, that's awesome. Shall we get to movie club?
I think we should get to movie club.
All right, y'all. It's time for the final segment of the where we talk about the movie we all watched together. Now, this week's movie club pick was The Abyss. What does this poster say? From the man who brought you Terminator and did something with aliens, it's now time for The Abyss, is what I imagine it says.
He made your heart pound with the Terminator. Then he stopped it with aliens. Then the print got too small for me to read.
Okay, cat viewer, used to love this movie. I had never seen it. Now, I think that if this was a movie I'd grown up with, I probably would love it too. And I'm not saying I didn't love it. I didn't dislike it. But what a weird movie.
What a weird movie.
What a weird movie.
Yeah, wow. Let's just get into it. Drop your thoughts in the chat. I think my initial, gut takeaway was there's got to be a reason the director's cut was twice as long as that.
It's not twice. It's 25 minutes longer.
I thought it was 3 hours.
It is. This is an hour, 2 hours and a half.
Whoa.
Yeah, the version we watched was 140 minutes.
Hold
and the special edition cut is 171. It's 30 minutes longer. 30 minutes longer.
Last night, you said it was an hour 40 twice.
I said it was 140 minutes.
Oh, no wonder I felt like a crazy person while we were watching that movie. I was like, I'm on another planet. This movie is not an hour and 40 minutes.
I said it's 140.
Oh. This whole time I was like, where did I go? I guess it's really, drawing you in.
Oh my God. It's so long. It's an hour longer than you thought it was.
Oh, I'm cry laughing.
That is crazy. I can't believe you just realized that. By the way, what's up? Welcome, Holden Wook, to the chat. Welcome. We watched The Abyss. Liquid oxygen is real, though, says Cat Viewer. That's incredible. Great job, Nerd says, you silly Billy. The whole diving sequence used to terrify me. I love these movies because every character is dead serious. I love that from Wedge. Good point. You can't really breathe it. Okay. Okay, so the diving sequence. About that rat. Oh yeah, I did not enjoy seeing the rat underwater for the effect. I had a rat
that looked just like that. It was a very good friend of mine when I was a child, and it made me very upset. His name was Juno, and he used to sit on my shoulder just like that. And rats are great pets.
And I think the rat in the movie was represented as being a great pet.
Yeah.
I loved. So this movie is a movie that I'm gonna describe in kind of an abstract way because I don't know if I think that this movie as a whole is the best thing I've ever seen. Do you just want to kind of get into our little capsule reviews?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna take the talking box and I'm gonna just say my little capsule review. This is our little Siskel and Ebert moment. Okay. I think that this movie really showcases James Cameron's obsession with obviously underwater diving technology. You can definitely see this is the man who was going to go on to make Titanic. You can definitely tell that he wanted an excuse to be around this equipment, to be underwater. You can also sense the same sort of militaristic, men on a mission vibe that you get in Aliens. Very much like this crew of Marines. Even Michael Biehn returning for his third appearance. Every movie that's listed on this poster, Terminator, Aliens, and The Abyss, Michael Biehn is in. Playing in this one, the crazy Marine, Coffee, who loses his mind. This movie felt like such a dad movie. And I think that something about James Cameron is his tone. He doesn't really vary his tone, or it wasn't then. I think Terminator 2 is the first time he really started varying his tone up and dipping into emotional territory. And I really think that starting with T2, his movies really started improving. Now, I love Aliens, but I do think that Aliens kind of suffers from a flatness. I think this suffers from the same flatness. You could say that's a flaw. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just the world being presented to you as realistic, because he certainly builds worlds. He certainly makes things gigantic and living in. And holy shit, is this movie a technical achievement? Absolutely. I think as a film, I would describe it as a very technical, dry affair, ironically, very dry movie with a few fantastic sequences. With a few sequences that just knock your socks off great. And the diving sequence to the final reveal of the what's underwater at the very end, that part, I was like, all right, movie, this is cool. This is my first time watching it. I definitely think this is something I will return to and watch again. I want to watch the special edition in a while. I'll come back to it and watch the full version. I can definitely see myself getting really cozy with this movie as a throw it on a Sunday afternoon, or watch it with your dad or watch it late night sort of thing. I don't think that it was white knuckle thrilling. And overall, I would say I recommend this to people who are completionists of 80s cinema, who are interested in... it very much felt like connective tissue between the 80s and 90s. And the only other thought I want to say here is that it felt like, especially with the ending, with the creatures that are in it, it felt like Cameron doing Spielberg. Felt like Cameron doing Close Encounters of the Third Kind underwater. I don't think he is Spielberg. And I think that's why there was a bit of a disconnect, because by the time this movie gets to its magical realism and earnestness, I don't know if that magic has been earned by the dryness and matter of fact of all the machinery and order and militarization that has brought us there so far. So, a very regimented but accessible, fun movie with a lot going on. I know you have a lot of thoughts too, so now I will pass the talking stick to you.
Oh, sure. Okay, so let's see. Capsule review, talking points of The Abyss. I will agree that this is a great technical achievement. I also will agree that this is a space movie underwater, 100%.
That's a good point.
It's exactly what it is. It's a space movie underwater, which is, in many ways, the same thing. We know less about the depths of the ocean than we do about outer space. So there's something to keep you up at night. Just me? No? Okay.
Our solar system.
I mean, really, though, think about it. Like, that is insane.
I know, it's amazing. And this movie definitely, like...
They definitely capitalize on that.
I mean, when did you first hear that fact,
Yeah.
Probably when you were a kid, probably around the time it was in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes, a great technical achievement. I think something that I kept commenting on when we were watching this movie is, okay, it has so much going on. It has so much to say. It has so many plot points. It is wild. It is wild how many things are going on in this movie. All right. So you've got like this sort of like the military government guys versus like the blue collar oil rig workers. You've got like the woman who is like a bitch because she's like doing a man's job and acting not.
And she's called a bitch a lot.
Yeah.
Movie.
Then you've got.
And refers to herself.
Then you've got the layer of like Russia. Oh, Russia, the Russian threat and the nukes. Okay, and then let's just for good measure top it off with like a deep sea abyss dwelling society that is half organic, half machine. Glow creatures. I mean, and you have the romance, rekindling of the romance between the two leads. I mean, there's so, and the technology of with the long water, whatever we were talking about.
The long water, the water snake. I want to call it the long water from now on.
The long water.
Oh, the long water. I thought you were talking the creature that goes through the ship.
I mean,
that long water.
That long water. Oh
that water that gets long.
Oh man, did you hear about that long water? He knows this thing over here. He knows this eavesdrop on it. So I just kept turning to Adam and being like, "Oh, we're back on the nukes now. Okay. Oh, we're back on the. Okay. Oh no, it's Russia again. Oh, the guy's trying to kill people. Oh, okay, they're doing a fight now. Oh, because he's a SEAL. He's a Navy SEAL. And
you said when we were watching it moves quick and slow at the same time.
Exactly, and that's the point I'm trying to get to. In a very long-winded way, is that it has so much to say and doesn't. At the same time, doesn't really say anything at all. It moves super fast. The plot points are like, look over here, no look over here, no look over here, no look over here. But then you have these long, drawn out beats of like, but hold on.
Just like world building and living.
We're gonna live here.
Oh, sorry, yeah. And Aliens kind of does the same thing.
Exactly.
I think Aliens kind of does the same thing.
It's sort of like chill. And bam, 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 and chill. And bam, bam, bam. Those are technical terms.
Wedge is saying he likes the pace because it's so 80s. And I agree. It is like, one thing I thought I had is like, this is like almost like Michael Crichton where it's so technical about its world that it's just like, you're going to learn something about this by being here. Mm-hmm. And it's so clear that he has a passion and a love for this and knows his stuff and was writing the script and was like, yeah, and then they go to the quad 4 sensor. Like, this dude knows his shit. And he wants to play with it. It did feel very 80s in that way. I agree. And that was... I like that, like... I like the... I think we've talked about this on the show before, but the 80s movie and before, that movies feel more novelistic. Mm-hmm. People used to read novels more, and you can tell in movies before the 90s, there is a... Like, obviously, we still have a lot of pop movies, but... Things aren't quite moving unless they're like exploitation or low budget at the same like 3-act clip. There's a lot of like novelistic, like let's just go over here and talk about this for a while. It
does feel very, very much like you're moving through a novel, and it feels like the pace you would read as well. So yeah, exactly. The only other point that I wanted to make about this movie, watching it, is there's so much stuff about traditional gender binary and traditional gender roles. Oh my god, every other turn it's like it's everywhere. Even with the scene with the rat, I mean, he keeps misgendering the rat and treating it without any emotion because he's saying it's a man. He's saying it's a male rat, and he's drowning this rat, calling it a he over and over again. And then the guy's like, it's a she, and that's the button of the scene. This guy like dehumanizes this rat by calling it a man, because this whole movie is about men like not having any emotions, and you have to be really like cold, and the fact that this woman is that way means she's a bitch. And there's so they talk about gender roles and this woman being a bitch and stuff like that so much in this movie. It's so much in this movie. And it just made me think of around this time, if y'all have been here for a while, if you're regulars of the video store, then that we have talked a lot about like different waves of feminism and how they play into different genres. Specifically, we've delved into horror and first and second wave feminism a lot. But this is sort of what we had touched on, like going into like almost a third wave feminism, late 80s into the 90s. I just have to say something that always bothered me growing up and still bothers me to this day is that around this time was very much like tough woman coming into the picture. Literally the picture. It's all these women taking up space in a man's world. Well, we won't even get into the fact that they're all like cis white women, because that's a whole nother conversation. But when I was a kid, it always kind of depressed me, because while I found it like empowering on one hand, the other hand was always like, this woman is gorgeous, has perfect skin, and is beautiful, and like skinny. And I always just was like, oh, okay. So, okay. That doesn't feel realistic, but okay.
I have a question here, because you made me think about something. Now, I was thinking during this, yes, there's a whole lot of talk about, like, it is the end of the 80s, it's the 9 to 5, and, like, the third wave of feminism, 9 to 5 era, post 9 to 5 era, third wave feminism. James Cameron in particular. Now, last week we spent a lot of time talking about how Titanic is this fiercely feminist story. Or at least is at least the biggest movie of all time to anchor itself with a female perspective. This, and Aliens, and Terminator 2. Now, see, I think that Cameron hears you. I think that he hears you. I don't think that Sarah Connor, I don't think the woman in this, I don't think that Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor, or Ellen Ripley, Sigourney Weaver, are like model women or wherever.
Oh, no. I just mean in a more general sense.
No, I know you are. But I'm saying I hear you in a general sense. But what I'm saying is the more you talked about it, I was like, you're right in a general sense. And it's convincing me that Cameron was trying to cut through that, because you're right. She is called a bitch all the time, refers to herself as a bitch in this movie because she's stepping into this male world. But like, I think Cameron wants, he is obsessed with the regimentation of this male world, but he always paints it as cold, blue, inhuman. And Ripley in Aliens, because of her love for Newt and her desire. Now, here's another aspect that might be problematic, but in Aliens, it's her motherly, her desire to be motherly towards Newt that saves her. In this, the woman, I don't remember any of their names. The woman in this, she's the only one who see the humanity in the creatures they find, and that saves them.
Yeah.
So I think there is some, and then of course in T2, I mean, that is like Linda Hamilton fully moving into badass mode, but it's also like a story of how men teach each other empathy and how women are scarred by abusive men in the past. The Terminator and the new family model. Can she trust him? As a whole, I just think that Cameron's actually pretty smart about his gender politics. I wonder what you think of that.
Yeah, I actually would agree with that. I think that is the subtext. At least it seems like to me. And we've talked a lot about, his relationship with his wife, and I don't know if that plays into his...
It's weird at the end, like and people, we should catch up with our chat in a second, but someone a few people early on were talking about how abrupt the ending was, and it is true. At the end of it, they say like Mrs. Blank, and it's like this thing where she accepts it, Now, does she accept it because he finally sees her value instead of seeing her as a woman trying to do a man's thing? Like,
well, I mean,
have they come to, maybe the ending was a little less abrupt, we might know.
Yeah, I mean, that's clearly the reason she hated being called that, is because no one would see her as an individual with any value aside from being the wife to someone else.
But she's telling everyone the whole time, listen to me.
Oh, I know.
There's aliens.
Yeah.
They got our backs.
Yeah.
And this dude's crazy. And then eventually everyone gets it.
Yeah.
I just think Cameron's got a weird thing where it's like he wants to tell very, like, movies that feel very masculine, but he just, like, prefers women, but he prefers male genres, which I think goes back to what we've talked about on this program before, is there's no such thing as a male genre.
Yeah.
And Titanic got us ticking there. It's like I want to explore the gender politics between James Cameron and Catherine Bigelow so much.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I was talking about his actual life, James Cameron.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was saying that we had discussed like the gender politics between them and the types of movies they have made and the interplay there, and be curious to do a deep dive on that.
Deep dive. Wow, that's the deepest dive anyone's ever done on a movie. Oh, you're 3 miles into this movie.
But I do think you made me giggle and I lost my thought. It just floated up to the surface.
Yeah, well, it didn't get bubbles in its system, though, because an alien helped it.
Oh, that was the other thing, is we were like, we're just going to brush over the fact that they didn't have to go into, like, decompression chamber. They just walked out like, you know.
Yeah.
And the ending was so fast. It was like, and it's a kissing.
That's really good. Tony G. Wiss says they're going to move home and break up again, which absolutely is the case.
Oh, what?
Anything. Oh, and Glowcut says, anytime someone mentions Catherine Bigelow, I just want to drop everything and watch Near Dark again. And Near Dark is unimpeachably great movie. One of the best vampire. It's a vampire movie with Bill Paxton.
It is?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Can we watch Near Dark?
Yes, that's the thing that's weird about their relationship, is like she loves male protagonists and he loves female protagonists, and they're both making action movies. We got to deep dive into this.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to scroll back up in the chat because people were being very thoughtful here, and I saw some really good points while we were both talking. So, let's scroll all the way back up to.
And I got my chat right here, so I'm not shoegazing or nothing. I'm just.
When you start to see the light when he gets super deep, always freaked me out when I was a kid. Yeah, I would say that. Johnny Ringo was amazing. Mary Elizabeth Mastratiano, man. What else has she been in? Pato's also out of Pet Rat.
Aww. Seriously, PSA, rats are great pets, unless you're a cat.
Solar Opposites, they do a callback to the scene where they drown the mouse scene. Always love seeing Kyle Reese. Me too, Omi. He has an obsession with asphyxiation the way Tarantino does with feet. These guys, they gotta have their trends. I totally agree. Glowcat says Aliens having a flatness. Always preferred Alien. Aliens more of a suspense. Aliens is a Terminator. Yeah, totally. And Terminator 2 is, I think one of my favorite movies of all time. Aliens is one of those movies that was always just like, everyone loves this, and I love it, but it's not my favorite Alien movie. It's great, but okay. Evil Russians in the 80s, true. Mm-hmm. Spielberg movie. And Wedge Day, we were saying, it's like he's trying to do a Spielberg movie, but half of him wants to make Terminator again, and or Aliens again, and then half of him's like, in Close Encounters for the ending, why not? And also, yeah, I'm gonna watch Sphere this week.
Real quick, because you were saying you were referencing the ending. One thing that we did touch on last night in our brief discussion, and that I noticed, was the way it's that whoever the DP was, like moving through those.
Oh yeah,
like
the cam
op people, like moving through those corridors like so quickly with all of those choreographed like.
Cameron's got a team, man. I
mean, whoa, that was impressive. And then, like you were saying, it makes the end when you open up into the abyss like feel so much bigger because you're like stuck in these close quarters for so long.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what the fuck?
I'm just realizing now that you comment on like the professionalism of how this stuff's executed. There's a reason this guy loves crews. He loves the crew of Marines and Aliens. He loves his crew in this. He loves the crew on the exploration vessel in Titanic. I think he really thinks of that's how he thinks of his film crew.
Yeah.
It's like we're men on a mission together.
Yeah. Or like women.
True Lies we gotta watch.
Okay, I think it's interesting. I saw
interesting.
that reference.
Did you see that?
I'm trying to find it in the chat.
Wedge said could barely make it through the most recent rewatch because the dialogue is really fucked up towards women.
I'm curious. I don't question that at all.
Yeah, and I don't remember that. I also do remember, the funny thing is, watch the theatrical cut of The Abyss, but like we were mentioning last week, T2, The Abyss, and Aliens all have special editions that have about a half hour of footage added to them. And I know that Ripley's a mother because I've only been watching the Alien special edition for years, and there's a whole ass scene with Paul Reiser where he's like, this is your daughter, she's 85, she died last month, she was 93, or whatever.
Real quick, Pathos, yes, 80, like we were saying, like 80% of the ocean remains completely unexplored. So terrifying. Scrolling through here. Also want to say I like what you said about having a tent set up in the corner. Thank you for being a regular.
Tony Lewis pointed something out here. I noticed he started calling her baby when she rescued him as Johnny Ringo was chasing him. He said it 3 times, but in a weird ownership way. Then as they're being chased, she hits a rock. He says, Jesus Christ, lady. She snaps back. If he can do better, he's welcome up here, bringing us right back. Interesting. And the thing is, I noticed he called the other woman, again, I don't remember, as Glowcat said, never a great sign, but I don't really remember every character's name.
Yeah.
But the other woman that was down there, he called baby, but it felt like they called each other baby. And I thought when he started calling his wife baby, that it was like to ground her. But this is an interesting read. I think you're making a good point. There is still some, like, you got to prove yourself shit going on.
Yeah, which isn't there always.
Camera work in this movie is phenomenal. Love the crew in his movies.
I do
Michael
remember
Crichton wrote the screenplay?
I do remember the Jesus Christ lady moment too. It's like there's so many pointed moments of like you have to say like lady or woman.
What yeah. Well, sorry, I'm confused because Great Job Nerd said he made his own movie so differently. Michael Crichton wrote the screenplay. I'm in my own world here. But what movie are you talking about, Great Job Nerds?
Oh, watch out! Wedge and I mind melded about camera work and the crew, and
yeah,
I didn't even see that. No, did I already watch?
Oh, Great Job Nerds chats are not coming through. Are you seeing any missing ones from him? Because I think I missed some context. I'm sorry, bruh. Yeah, Sphere, was it Sphere? So we actually found Sphere on DVD and The Abyss on DVD on the same visit. We did this earlier in the show, Great Job Nerds, but we found them on the same visit to Half Price Books and bought them together, to which the wonderful clerk said, I love the people who work there, said, ooh, underwater mystery double feature. And I said, yes. So Sphere is what we're going to watch next. And yeah, there's Michael Crichton's name right there, based on the novel by, screenplay not by him. So something else? But he wrote a lot of screenplays.
My chat just kind of went, so maybe there was like a lag.
Yeah, something weird's happening. And then I like Tony G. Wiz. The chauvinism is still there at the end. Yeah, it's true. They're not meant to be. The interstellar parallels I do see between like people, but I think that harkens back to what you were saying at the top of this, which is an outer space movie.
Yeah, it is.
Underwater. Mm-hmm. Well, dang. Man, what an active... Oh, you watched Leviathan, a fun ripoff with fun characters.
Whoa! That's so weird. I was just listening to an episode of Armchair Expert yesterday where Dax Shepard is referencing Leviathan and how they actually had campaigns making fun of how hard it was to pronounce the name of the movie because it was like affecting the box office.
Oh no.
And they were saying they did the same thing with Jumanji. But anyways, apparently that movie is actually really good and it bombed in the box, but I don't know.
I have never seen it. I would love to. Now, y'all, before we move on.
Fun ripoff with solid characters. Okay.
Before we move on, I want to read this thing I just found, which is an LA Times article from August 6th, 1989. called Fox Plunges into the Abyss. Far behind schedule and millions over budget, the film arrives, but is it too late to cash in? Because I felt like this movie thinks of itself as being a huge movie, but I never really grew up with friends talking about it, and I wondered, is it because it doesn't have an anchored creature? You said it feels very much like an adult movie.
Yeah.
Like it does, and I think that gets back to the whole novel thing. This feels like a book your dad would read. Like a drowning guest ignored at a raucous poolside party, Fox Film Corps has been helplessly glubbing and thrashing through what has been a record-breaking summer for others. While Warner Brothers has been raking it in from Batman and Lethal Weapon 2, Paramount from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Columbia from Ghostbusters 2, and Disney from Turner and Hooch, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and Dead Poets Society, Fox has been waiting with mounting exasperation for its big action-adventure sci-fi love story, The Abyss, to be finished. Its release date was supposed to be July 5th. The wait finally ends after 3 agonizing rescheduling and much hand-wringing over studio money plummeting into a bottomless abyss when the movie goes into a wide national release Wednesday in August. Virtually sidelines in a frenzied marketplace juggernauting towards a season stake of $2 billion, Fox until now has contributed nothing but Weekend at Bernie's, an unimpressively performing beach comedy. Holy shit. They were mad. Fox was mad this summer, and Cameron was holding them back. Wow.
So they said it. That's the real abyss.
Yeah. Let's see here. Even if the gamble... Now, this is Diller, Barry Diller, chairman of Fox Incorporated. Even if the gamble on the abyss is a failure, it would not be crucial to Fox, Diller said. In terms of such issues as earnings, it does not have any kind of material effect for either 88 or 89. The whole is larger than a very expensive movie, which this is. I am not an inherent believer in highly budgeted films and never have been. I'm always uncomfortable with it. I wonder, I would be so interested to see the kind of output that Fox did in the early 90s after this. Because they definitely, I wonder if you can see a trend away from big budget movies. Did The Abyss scare Fox away from trying to go for it? What do y'all think? I just found that article and I thought that was fascinating.
Tony G. Wiz is saying, that's why the short ending ran out of money.
Maybe.
And then Cat Viewer says Turner and Hooch was a moneymaker.
It was. Tom Hanks has always been a moneymaker, and so are puppies. Bernie teaches here. Nice.
Glowcat says Weekend at Bernie's makes me uncomfortable. I'm skipping over pathos, but I will read that in a sec. Only because that made me... I have to admit, I've never seen Weekend at Bernie's, but the premise is so fucked to me. It's so fucked. I don't know. I don't know. I can't comment because I've never seen it, but really?
This is like you're like Salo.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, going back to pathos, it's C mystery movie I've never seen but have wanted to watch forever, The Philadelphia Experiment. Ooh, I love conspiracy movies.
I do too.
I love movies based on true stories. I love conspiracy movies. And if the two shall meet in a Venn diagram of cinema, well then sign me up.
Sounds fun. I'm going to add that to our short list for sure so we can watch that. I've never seen it either. I barely heard about it.
Wait, Glowcat. They try to hook up with chicks with the body? I thought it was just like they had like a...
What?
I thought it was just like this guy was like had to be somewhere or something, and they were like, just kidding.
That's gross.
That's so... Now I'm even more uncomfortable with a movie I've never seen. Ugh.
Weekend at Bernie's, 120 days of Sodom. Well, y'all, we were going to wrap the stream up a little early. We actually ended up going for pretty much 3 hours. It always happens, but you know what?
We love it.
We love it. The story of the Philadelphia Experiment is actually really interesting. The whole conspiracy is back in the 40s. Some science experiment with cloaking technology made an entire ship disappear. Oh, no, it's 80s. Fuck. They want to hook up with chicks using their body's beach house. This is not the Philadelphia.
Okay.
By the way, the cloaking technology, that reminds me of the final countdown. which is a really fun movie. Not that, but yes. It's a really fun movie about a ship that goes back in time. The USS Nimitz goes back in time to right before Pearl Harbor is attacked and has to decide whether or not to get involved.
Okay, whoa.
It's a really fun. It's right over there. Okay, so I was just saying it's towards the end of the show. Do you want to try and do staff picks and movie club?
Yes.
Okay, my staff pick, I think is gonna be, well, I don't know. I think I know what it's gonna be. But movie club. Let's start there.
Okay.
Now we're getting into Christmas. Now, do you have any thoughts here?
Really, I mean, the movie club. I feel like we try to sort of like plinko it.
Yeah. We want it to like be something that. Let me get rid of this poster. We want it to be something that feels like an organic extension of where we've been. Now, last week it was a bit more of a literal connection because last week's movie club was Titanic. This week's was James Cameron underwater yet again. We have Christmas on the brain. Mm-hmm. We have.
I'm very much moving staunchly into the Christmas spirit, Christmas season.
Me too.
I want eggnog, Daddy.
Oh, God. Martin Sheen and Kirk Douglas are both in the final countdown. Yes, and so is Lloyd Kaufman. Weirdly, Lloyd Kaufman is in the final countdown next to Kirk Douglas. So.
And yes, we will get around to watching Memphis Belle.
Oh yes, we will, brother. We will. We're gonna watch it this week on our own. So yeah, movie club pick. I know I'm gonna watch Sphere. I don't think that. I don't not. Really don't think that should be movie club pick.
Yeah, I feel like that's a little too. I mean, look, we watched Titanic and then we watched The Abyss.
Yeah, let's like break it out of.
I kind of want to go like a little more like this instead of like this.
Hard left here.
Not a hard left, but like, yeah, I do. I want to make sure we don't go down a rabbit hole and get stuck in a rut.
Yeah, Uncle Lloyd produced it. That's awesome. That is awesome. I've said this before, but I got to talk to him once on the phone, and it was wonderful.
Never mind.
Philadelphia Experiment. Great Escape. I'm just thinking of dad movies now.
I know.
Y'all ever see Stalag 17? I just watched that for the first time this year. Great Billy Wilder war movie with William Holden in it. Well, I know that I'm going to try and stay with the Christmas theme with my staff pick, and I'm going to say my staff pick is Eyes Wide Shut. And with Eyes Wide Shut, now there's a lot of controversy around what the proper aspect ratio is to watch Kubrick's last 3 movies in. Those 3 movies being The Shining, Full Metal Jacket, and Eyes Wide Shut. Here's the real reason behind that. Kubrick wanted his DPs to frame every frame to be protected for a 4:3 frame. A 4:3 frame being the square, what an old TV would look like. Because he knew that those movies were going to go out on VHS and that hundreds of thousands of more people were going to see them on VHS than they would in theaters. So he said to his DPs, fill the frame, protect the frame, but frame it also, make sure that everything fits if it has to be matted. So that would be essentially like going from a full frame to a widescreen. So I know a lot of y'all know this. I'm just covering my bases here. So basically, he wanted both aspect ratios to be protected so that the movie looked great if you watched it in a theater, and they matted it down to 1:8:5 into a traditional widescreen format. 1:8:5 is the aspect ratio all of our HD TVs are.
There was quite a fuss with this movie last night.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, the reason is, and sidebar, the reason is that this movie is an old DVD, and so it is used to playing on a square TV, but it's a widescreen movie, and because of that, it ends up with bars on all 4 sides of it. That's just a symptom of having a pre-anamorphic DVD. There'll be a remaster of it at some point, but
if you stream it, it's not wide.
If you stream it, you can fill your screen, but it's full frame. And why would you ever watch a James Cameron movie full frame if it's 1997 and you just got a VHS copy of Titanic?
That's a PSA along with Rats Are Great Pets.
There you go. Yes. Original. I mean, that's the thing on the show. I always try to watch things in original aspect ratio whenever possible. Granted, I break that rule all the time with like horror movies on tape, but there's a different vibe going on there. Anyway, for Eyes Wide Shut, The Shining, and Full Metal Jacket, Kubrick protected for full frame and for widescreen, right? So there's a huge debate because the movies forever were available in full frame, and the full frame is bigger than the widescreen. It has more image to it because it's the open, unmatted 35 millimeter frame. I grew up watching these movies in full frame on the DVDs. The DVD that I have of Eyes Wide Shut on the back says this movie is in full frame, not widescreen, to respect the director's wishes. So I always thought, well, that's what he wants. It's the bigger frame. Now, the 4K restorations or Blu-ray restorations of all three of these movies crop them down to be 1.85, losing you part of the image. That does not mean that Kubrick was anti that. It does not mean that he wouldn't want you to watch it that way. In fact, he would have protected that frame. So it really comes down to, what is your taste? Do you think that Kubrick wanted your screen filled? Do you prefer to have the screen filled? In that case, watch the widescreen. Personally, I highly, highly encourage you to watch Eyes Wide Shut in a full frame format. It's going to look like a square with black bars on the side, or pillar boxed instead of letter boxed. Pillar boxed. I really recommend that you watch it this way, and that is because this movie, more than The Shining, more than Full Metal Jacket, is truly framed in a square composition, and if you watch it that way, this movie feels like a beautiful walk through a melancholy New York shot with an old old camera, and there's a lack of cinema to it that makes it feel more cinematic and bigger. I can't imagine watching it in widescreen. I really encourage you to watch full frame. That's my rant. Eyes Wide Shut might be Stanley Kubrick's best movie, and one of the few examples in which watching a VHS is a better way to watch it, I think. Not a few examples, but is the more authentic way to watch it, maybe.
Wow, okay, well... I'm not just fucking with you. Would you be upset if my staff pick was The Muppet Christmas Carol?
No, not at all.
Okay, that's my staff pick. And
Awesome.
I don't have anything to say about it other than rats are great.
Other than you should try to also watch the VHS of that because you get the uncut version with the original song, When Love Is Gone.
Yes, or the clamshell.
Or the clamshell
DVD.
VHS.
Or the DVD with the art from Clamshell, whatever.
Yes.
You said it earlier.
You got it.
Sorry, we kept talking about T2, and this is like such a horn toot. I just want to say that last year I was nominated in the same category as Linda Hamilton.
Yeah!
At a festival, and I won.
Stephanie won an acting award against Linda Hamilton
And
at a film fest last year.
I was like, can we get a recount?
Dude.
Anyways. Sorry.
That's so rad. Yeah, you won Best Actress.
I really was like, did they do it wrong?
That's so cool. Yeah. So there's our star, a true star of the show, Stephanie Thoreson. Winning
I just
awards,
wanted to
beating out
I've
Sarah
had a low
Connor.
self-esteem week, and I'm on my period, and I need to get into some sweatpants and eat those Reese's sticks cooling in the fridge. And it is just like, I just had to be like, oh yeah, I do have worth.
What's a good sideways movie that one of the Abyss people was in?
Just stare off.
We're gonna go chill. We'll have our meeting after this. Get you a Reese's stick, maybe some mother's lettuce or whatever you call it.
Oh, Mama's
90s mom cigarette.
Mama's 90s cigarette.
Okay, so we got staff picks. Let me drop them in the chat. We got staff picks. Let me drop them in the chat quick.
All right. Yes. What's a good sideways? I am trying to think.
All right, y'all. We got Ed Harris. We got Michael Biehn.
Oh, are we looking for like a 6 degrees situation?
Yeah, Ed Harris is in some fun ones. I mean,
oh my God,
these ring a bell to you? Oh man, I do not want to rewatch that.
Oh, I just forgot that movie existed.
Won Best Picture.
It did?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Beautiful Mind won Best Picture against. I remember watching that year and being mad about it.
Talking about can we get a recount? The Truman Show. I mean, we did talk about The Truman Show earlier.
Aaron Brockovich, Traffic, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Wait. Oh, 2002 then, because they always are the year after. Yeah, oh yeah, I remember being so mad because it won Best Picture against Moulin Rouge and Gosford Park. Yeah. I would love to rewatch Gosford Park, personally. I haven't seen it since theater. Glengarry Glen Ross is another one Ed Harris is in that we've been talking about a lot.
That has been on our list for a hot
That is an actor's movie too. Man, that's good. Ed Harris.
Also, there's a lot of talk in the chat about The Truman Show, which I think both of us have seen a lot, but I love that movie and am always down for a Truman Show rewatch.
If people are feeling The Truman Show, man, then I'm totally... Yeah, we just watched Creep Show. It was awesome. I mean, I don't want to stand in the way of people wanting to watch Truman Show. I love it. I have seen it several times. Like, I'm not sure I would even need to watch it.
I kind of agree. I've seen it so many times.
It's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's one of my favorite
movies.
Up here. It's amazing. But I've seen it a lot.
Yeah, it's great. And I love, I mean, I really got like, oh, when you said that's like somebody, what did you say earlier about somebody seeing The Truman Show? Was this on the stream or?
Who knows anymore what's real, what's personal, what time is, etc. I don't know. I'm trying to start a poll here.
All right, so we've got Gosford Park, Glengarry Glen Ross, Truman Show.
Can I start a poll?
Apollo 13.
Yeah, we can do Apollo 13. I haven't seen Apollo 13 since I fell asleep watching it in theaters with my dad.
Oh, shade.
It's not shade. I was a child. It's slow paced.
One time I fell asleep when I was at the symphony orchestra, and I felt so guilty that I cried.
Oh, honey, that's hard.
My dad would like save up money to take us to see the symphony every few years, but it was so relaxing, and I was like, I was little, and I was in one of those, cozy seats.
You carry too much guilt.
Yes, I do.
Glowcat, I love the Needful Things reference. The suggestion. I want to watch that, but we just did so much horror, so I feel like we're taking a break for December
for which?
For Movie Club.
No, for which movie?
Needful Things.
Oh,
it's a Stephen King adaptation. I really want to watch that movie.
I do too, but we did just watch
We promised ourselves
a September.
Horror. Yeah, we started horror in December, and we're gonna watch a couple Santa horror movies anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Look,
Truman Show. Look, Truman Show, Glengarry. These are okay. And Ed Harris. I was also Googling what other movies, not just Ed Harris had been in, but Michael Biehn. And of course, I'm getting a lot of James Cameron movies. But a Michael Biehn movie that came up that I'd forgotten about is Tombstone. And I have seen people weirdly
just rewatch that?
Someone Pathos watched it, and that's the second time I've seen it referenced in the past couple days. Glowcat, you probably know the other reference I'm talking about from that group. So I don't know. That's for me too. Also, it could be something totally Christmassy, y'all. Like we could straight up pick a Christmas movie if that's what we're feeling too.
Yeah.
And for a second here, let me just remind y'all. Glowcat just sent me an amazing photo that is absolutely going on our stream, which is an Eyes Wide Shut Christmas partner. Definitely going to share that on the Instagram. So follow us just to do some end of the show stuff here. We do this every Tuesday at 7. You can follow along with our Instagram at You Are In A Video Store. Mm-hmm. We will have an outro theme next week that will be rapped by me. And hey, if you want rap music for background music or transitional music for your Twitch stream, hit me up. I'm trying to partner with people. Wedge has not seen Tombstone. Pathos loved it. Wedge watches Heat. We just watched Heat.
Oh, Heat is so good.
So good. Yeah, so fucking good.
I would rewatch Heat.
We just watched it.
I know. It's so good.
It's so good. Well, I mean, I would rewatch it too. Okay. Oh, yes. Thank you, Pathos. Pathos doing our jobs here for us. Yes. And if you are purchasing anything on the Epic Games Store, then please use promo code UltraLoop132 because that's going to give us a little cash kickback and it's also going to get you a discount.
Yes. Thank you, Pathos.
Thank you.
Always have our back and your tent with the vintage anime
tunnels. I love it. Okay.
All right.
Now I am like just totally. Oh yeah, Michael Biehn was the dad in Cherry Falls. I forgot that. The good guy dad who was like, "Oh, my daughter had sex, so she didn't die." I love Michael Biehn. Okay, man, I am like so. Oops, just closed the chat.
Okay, all right. So look, we've got Tombstone. There are a lot of Tombstone love going on in the chat. So I guess it's down to let's talk about it. Truman Show, Tombstone, Glengarry, Glen Ross, and maybe Apollo 13 / shall we throw in a Christmas movie as a wild card?
Maybe we should have a Christmas movie pick too. Although, no, our staff picks will be Christmas movies. How about that?
Oh, great. I love that.
Because they both are.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all.
Because Christmas movies are personal.
Yeah. Tombstone. Well, we'll talk about them anyway. Okay. I'm going to write some down. Now, this is a little Googling. Tombstone, Glengarry, Truman Show. Am I missing?
We got some Days of Thunder talk.
Days of Thunder.
And
Apollo 13.
Apollo 13.
Okay, and then I'm going to drop something I saw just looking up movies that reminded me of Heat. I'm going to drop a few here that I think would also be fun. Most namely, Ronin and The Game.
I was just like, ooh, Ronin.
Yeah.
Also, The Game is another one similar to Truman Show that I've seen so many times, but
Yeah,
I'm always here for The Game.
Same. And you know what? I want to also, when we get to Movie Club, I think fair warning, once we get a little closer into December, I'm picking like an old-timey ass movie for one of these weeks because I want to have some like cozy.
I love it.
Sipping cocoa.
Oh, people love The Game. The Game is so good.
The Game rules.
The Game is so good.
Okay, y'all. So these are the movies. Now, Movie Club meeting, we'll all try and watch it. We'll meet back here to talk about it. I loved this discussion on The Abyss. I don't know if we've ever had this many people watch something.
Tony G. has never seen The Game. Sorry.
Whoa.
I just got so excited for you to watch The Game for the first time.
Glowcat said that he just watched it for the first time this year, and holy hell.
Ugh.
This is
so sick. Like, seeing The Game for the first time is the coolest experience.
David Fincher has a new movie out. Has anyone seen that? Mank? Should that be our Movie Club pick? Should we just make Mank our Movie Club pick so we can all talk about a new movie? Or not?
There was a little baby controversy I saw. I haven't seen Mank, so I don't know. But it's basically a historical inaccuracy that occurs in the movie, which, again, is a slight against a woman. It's fine.
Well, I know nothing about it.
I mean, I don't either. I just know that in real life, the two characters are the same age. In the movie, they make the male counter about 30 years younger than she was in real life.
Oh, I got you.
I mean,
well,
I just putting it out there, but
what are you gonna do? Change Hollywood? Open a setup menu.
What are you gonna do? Crush the patriarchy?
It wants me to open a
that.
setup menu to. Okay, now I am not doing this right. I'm trying to open up a setup menu to make a poll. I'm trying to make a poll for The Game versus Tombstone.
Hey Sally, open it. Hey Sally, open up the settings menu.
It's The Game versus the Tombstone, right? These are the two. I mean, look at this enthusiasm.
I mean, come on.
Am I wrong?
The Game is
Pathos
so
agrees.
good. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, look. Thank you, Pathos. Pathos has thrown up a poll for us.
Oh, thank you, Pathos.
The Game also might be a Christmas movie. No, it's his birthday. It's his birthday. Okay, but I'm watching Mank this week because I forgot it came out, and
Oh, I'm very curious. I'm very interested in watching that.
Okay, y'all. I think maybe. Now I just Googled The Game Christmas Fincher, and the first thing I got was a quote from David Fincher saying that The Game is a postmodern version of A Christmas Carol.
I'm shaking.
So apparently Fincher described The Game as his Pomo version of A Christmas Carol.
My heart is pounding.
And there's actually a video from December 24th from Cracked.com, back when Cracked was well funded and made really great comedy video content before their funding got cut, called Why David Fincher Already Directed the Best Christmas Movie. So did we accidentally...
My heart's pounding.
Like a little rabbit. So I'm just trying... Look, damn. And you know what the funny thing is? I bought The Game on Blu-ray from like a generic like $4 Blu-ray, and then the Criterion sale was just in November, and they have a really nice transfer of it, and I didn't trade up. It's all right.
Wow. Why would you tell me that?
Wedge said, I voted for the game, but I'm going to watch Tombstone. We might come back to Tombstone. I agree with you, Glowcat. I think it's my favorite Fincher movie, too.
I mean, we got to keep Tombstone in mind for, just in gen /
I'm just going to add it. Look, I have a running list on my phone. It's where we list the things we watch and the things we want to watch. It's how we keep track. So I'm going to go ahead and add Tombstone to it right now. Obviously going to add Mank to it.
I'm getting an ad for grilled cheese burritos.
Oh, man, that's our fault. Okay, cool. I
take ownership.
I think... Ooh, Social Network's great. Okay, we might just go down a Fincher rabbit hole. We'll see what happens.
I want to rewatch Social Network.
And Seven and Zodiac.
Seven and Zodiac. Okay.
We're doing that thing we did with Tarantino.
I know.
It looks like we have a winner.
I'm excited.
Tony G. West says, I'm game.
I feel like every time you start watching the game, you get a rush like it's the first time you're seeing the movie. It's so good.
It's so good. I love how giddy you are. I love it. It's the perfect period remedy.
It is.
The game and
oh
Reese's.
My god! My hormones are going wild right now. That's why I'm like so hyped for the game.
Great job, nerds. I'm not sure what you're referring to. All right, y'all. So we've got staff picks, Muppet Christmas Carol, Eyes Wide Shut, movie club pick is the game. We'll drop that on @.
You are in a video store. Your chair sounds like it's farting.
I know, I'm not though.
We picking that up on the mic?
Maybe. Go ahead and drop us a follow over on our Instagram channel. You can also catch archival episodes of this show at Baby Lion, where every episode is archived. We love having you guys here.
Thank you to our regulars. Thank you to our new, do we call them subscribers?
I feel like you're a subscriber to the channel, but when you're here, you're a guest.
I love that. We hope you become regulars of the video store.
We would love to keep talking movies with you. We'll do this every Tuesday at 7 p.m., no matter what. And that's it. Also, I guess before that's it, make sure that you watch, or not watch, make sure you also check out, when you check out our page, check out hashtag 25 Days of Christmas Eps for what Wedge and Great Job Nerds put together to help guide us through the holidays. We watched those this week and had a great talk at the top of tonight's episode.
Yes, and as always, be kind to each other. Don't yuck yums, y'all. Be cool, be kind. Black Lives Matter. Rewind. Happy holidays, and we'll see you next week to talk about the game.
I thought I had a button, and then I didn't. Should I say anything else, or?
Well, if you have a button, you have a button.
Well, I wanted to respond to Tony G. Wez and say thank you. And Vineet, I wanted to say you have a nice sleepy night.
Aww.
Tonight's episode is Parks and Recreation. Oh yeah, let's quickly do that. I'm sorry, I know that you just did the outro for us, but...
I'll just take back my air kisses.
No, don't take those back.
Well, I'm just going to put them in my pocket
okay. I did, really quickly, Parks and Rec. Tomorrow is Community, Abba's Uncontrollable Christmas, Bob's Burgers, 30 Rock, Lost, South Park, Woodland Critter Christmas.
Oh, okay, this is good. Oh, that one makes me sad.
It's violent and gross. Y'all, so make sure you're following along with that as well. And otherwise...
Can I pull out my air kisses?
Yeah, pull out those air kisses.
Okay, I'm just gonna...
See you soon.
Bye!